Wait, we're live on Facebook?
Yeah, here we go. We're really live, aren't we? We're live now. Now we are. So they actually, Harry, you brought them out here, huh?
I did.
And why? Let's talk about first why. What's going on at LP in Harmony this week?
This Saturday on the 13th of January, there's going to be an epic collision, so to speak.
In a good way.
In a good way. I knew these two gentlemen. I just met Richie C, and I've known about his history, but I know Bacho for a very long time.
Yeah, Bacho's a legend in Brooklyn and Manhattan.
And
Plato's Retreat.
And one of the things that I know is that Richie started out and Bacho started out in the Brooklyn, the club days.
Richie.
I mean, the beginning. When they say in the beginning there was house, this is in the beginning there was club DJ music.
Disco.
No,
not
even disco.
Let's clarify that. First, I want him Richie to say this. Richie, tell me.
Rich. They didn't even use the word DJ. They used the word.
I hate that word.
You were a spinner. You were spinning. You were spinning records.
You spinning?
You weren't mixing music. You were making
music.
changes.
Right.
Well, that's what Steve D'Aquisto used to tell me when I first met him. He says, we never talked about mixing. The guy would always say, wow, did you hear that change?
Right.
I was like, what do you mean change?
Right.
That's exactly what
That's what he would say. He would say just like that. He would say, he's Lenny, it wasn't mixing, bro. It was changes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So I'm like, I would say to him, what do you mean changes? Through the night? You know, like a lighting change? And they would say?
It's the selection. And it's the quality of the sound. And I was friends with Steven.
Yeah,
And,
both
Yeah, you too.
And me and Richie became friends probably 70, 71?
70.
70. Yeah.
Late 70.
Yeah.
Bacho was a dancer. An incredible dancer.
Thanks.
Yeah. Won all the dance contests.
Well, you see, now, here's the funny thing, okay? You talk about dancing. Back in the day, we saw that on Saturday Night Fever. There was this big poster that said $500 for the first place couple. Was that everywhere?
No, that's quite bullshit.
Let's talk for real. So what do you mean dancing? What'd you do? You just were you freestyling? Were you hustling? New York hustle?
No, it was. See, it started when I was
pre-hustle.
It started when I was 10. I used to go to the candy store and dance for nickels and pennies. And it was the 60s, the early 60s, when I was 10, like 64, 65. And something clicked because my uncle, my aunt, they were all into how they call that type of music, castanets.
Right.
And the Spaniard Pavilion at the World's Fair at that time.
Oh, wow.
So
you're going back to the 60s.
Right, and
take us there.
I could see it in front of me. My aunt, my uncle, friends. I had pictures home of me sitting like this with a tie and my hair short, and I used to watch them dance. And my uncle was playing the trumpet in the kitchen, in the bathroom, because my grandmother couldn't take the noise. But my uncle was a brilliant trumpet player.
Okay.
Still is, if he gets his horns back in. But when it comes to me in music, it's about the feeling.
Okay, so now let me ask this question. Coming this Saturday, what are people expecting from this group of Bacho and Condina?
I'm not certain.
Because it wasn't a fight between us.
No, it's not a fight. What are they expecting? Because it's a different time and different place. We're moving forward now.
Well, I feel like we're going backwards.
Is that good or bad?
It's bad. In
Why?
the music business.
Oh, well.
No, he's talking about the event.
No, I'm talking about the event. Let's not go to the business. Let's talk about just the event.
Okay.
Let's not talk about music
about
business.
the event.
Just the event.
Just the event.
What's going to take place at the event is musically.
Musically, it's
Yeah.
like what we started doing.
Right.
We didn't know what we were doing.
Right. There'll be a large number of 45s played.
What's a
A lot of
45?
cuts from...
Hold on a second. There's some young people. Do you all know what 45s are?
45s. 45 RPM.
Seven.
The little
Seven.
The
record.
little,
Discs.
yeah, right. The little
The
record.
little record with
The
the
little
Not
whistle in
record.
it.
CDs, 7-inch discs.
Yeah,
Right.
7-inch
Not CDs
disc.
would have put not put the CD on.
That's how the Bohemians would say it now. A 7-inch disc.
Okay.
Right.
So, where do we need to say where we are, Richie? Where is this all coming together?
This is coming at LP and Harmony in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Starting at
Oh, he's got it. Yeah, show the 45 RPM.
9 o'clock.
We're starting at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Yeah, this is what we put between the record.
Yep. The 45 holder.
Right. It's called a spindle.
Thank you. I didn't know that.
This is a spindle. You probably saw this on a lot of things in the city. If you're from the city, like in
They were a
some of
penny
the
a piece, remember?
some of the yeah, they were only a penny at that time,
Right.
and they were yellow.
Yes, but
They were
this
yellow
is an
plastic.
original duplicate because
Right.
this was made from my aunt. It's gold.
Yeah, this goes into the 45. There were a little modern ones now, but this is what we used to use. So
Mine's-
sometimes we would lose this in the DJ booth,
What were they made out
and
of?
then we
back
had
then?
to make our own.
Huh?
What were they made out of?
Plastic.
Yellow, red.
Right. But, and then they also, if you go prior, it was a silver piece of metal.
It was a silver one, right?
It was
Those
a
were hard to
silver-
get.
Yeah.
You had to have money to get that one.
Yeah.
Right. You needed money.
Yeah.
You needed
Right.
money.
Well, let's say this now for people because that's another thing. Back then, because the hardship for a lot of people is they don't know what it was like going out clubbing then to what it is now.
Right.
What they think now is what it is today.
It isn't.
Right. Can you just give us just if you were like over it as a bird's eye view, what would it be like to explain to somebody quickly, like how a night in the 70s would have been? Because we all see Saturday Night Fever with the lights, that commercialized way.
Right.
Well, if you really want to know the truth about Saturday Night Fever,
No, let's go.
Not
let's
Saturday Night
talk-
Fever, just a
let's not
night.
talk about that.
For example, Revelations, Dr. Feel
Right.
Funny.
Right.
Dr.
What-
Feel Funny. It's 4 o'clock. I was in the club
In the afternoon?
in the afternoon.
Right.
Always.
And
Early.
Right. And
Right.
I was there very early in Revelation,
Right.
too.
And the records were already there.
Right. We could
We
keep
trusted the booth.
We trusted the owners,
Right.
and the owners had it well. It was well protected.
Yeah.
So,
And
you know.
anything new that I had in the bag, in the package, right? Not a shoulder bag, just a bag, from Colony Records, right, or wherever at that time. Basically, in the very beginning, it was Colony Records. We could say that, right? In the
And
very
downstairs.
beginning, Albee Record Store on Fulton Street.
That's right.
There was some place.
EJ Corvettes,
EJ Corvettes.
Gimbals, right?
Right. Exactly.
It was.
Woolworths. We used to get records of
Woolworths.
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 I
It was
remember
$1.99
You used to
an
get
album.
the cutouts, the side they used to cut,
Yeah.
right?
Right. There were some places where the 45s were 4 for $1.
Yeah.
That's the
Depends.
truth.
It depends where you went
My,
and what you needed.
Matter of fact, I got a record jacket home, a 45 record jacket that actually has that stamped on it. I'm going to take a picture of that and include it on the pictures that we took today. Take the new stuff out, set the system up, get behind the tables. And,
Why'd you have to set the system up?
Well, you had to make sure that the
I know why, but tell the people.
Okay, well, make sure that everything was working.
It's called today a sound check.
Yeah, sound check. Yeah, that's
Very good.
It
I
wasn't
like
a sound check back
Because
It was
It
no
was
such
called
thing-
make sure everything's
wait.
working.
It's like-
Was there
Let's
something
make sure
called a
working
contract?
check.
Was there anything called contract rider?
It was like a make sure everything's working check, right?
Yeah.
That's what really it was.
And if it wasn't working,
And
what
it had
did
the
you guys do?
fans had to be on for the amp because
Right.
there was no cooling system
Yeah, because we couldn't operate them all day.
because they would blow out.
Right.
In the beginning, we didn't even know why they were blowing out
And,
What
how,
about that?
and why were they blowing out?
because they would overheat because
They
there
were
were
all
tubes.
Oh,
Macintosh.
Right.
Macintosh was a good
Right.
Yeah, that
amp
was the best.
back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
sure.
we didn't have mixes.
No, I started with a Shure mic mixer.
I remember that. I remember
It was
that.
brown. It was about
You had
this
two
big.
of them.
Yeah.
You know. and it was a left and right,
See?
and it was just.
He knows because he used
Switch.
to come and watch me.
And I used to say to myself,
What the hell is he doing?
yeah, but then he had a headphone on, and I'm even more curious now.
Right. I'm trying to
Which
think of
part
the
were you
name of
more
the
curious?
headphones.
Which part were you more curious? What he was listening to, or what you were hearing,
What I was listening to.
or what? And I'm saying, in other words, like you're on the outside dancing, and I know as you're not DJing, so
I was curious.
you want to know what the hell's going on, right?
Yeah.
Because this is all new.
Right. We didn't know what it was going to be.
No.
Right. And Richie, for some reason, came up with this thing on 4th Avenue in Dr. Field Funnies. And I was there. It was early part of the evening, and I wanted to set up the song so I could win the dance contest.
Evil. I told him it was Evil by Outrun the Fire.
Yeah.
It was a show in. As soon as I put it on, he'd start dancing. He'd win, but he never split anything with me.
You mean to tell me it wasn't a fixed thing, right? But he
No, it
was,
wasn't fixed.
He
but
was
if
the
he
only
won
one that
anything,
danced.
I never saw anything.
But the reason why I wanted to dance and win is so I could go out and buy vinyl.
Yeah.
Because we were dirt poor. I come from from South Brooklyn to the Lower East Side, from being in gangs to being here today. And it's a wonderful journey,
And you're not finished.
and I'm not done.
Why does it sound like you were almost finished the way you said the
Yeah.
journey? It felt like you were going to
That's
say,
why-
and the journey
that's why I
is
had to
now
add-
over.
We gotta play Saturday.
That's why I had to add, and you're
Well,
not finished.
They just came from my house, so they know that I'm not.
Well, have you guys? I got a question. Have you guys did any?
Yeah, Harry, you got to go to Harry. Go ahead.
I'm honored because I know your
England's
history-
on.
your
Say hello to
history.
England. Jeremy Sylvester's on from England. They're starting to come on now.
Hey, Lynn.
Okay.
One big question.
Go ahead, Harry.
Have you, real quick, have you guys? I know your history. I know about you, and I met you like a couple of months ago, and we hit it off very well. And it just so happens that you guys were close, so maybe that's probably why.
But we didn't find each other until Facebook,
Right,
because
Yeah, it was a big gap.
we used to call him Richie Knows.
right.
Yeah.
That's
Like
not-
Toucan Sam?
right, and Ming says, want to be a friend. And this was a few years ago, and I said,
Right.
wow, am I really talking to Richie now? You know, it was like the voice of the past coming back to haunt me, where I already been, and I came back, and I went back, and I came back. I got an ER operation, and I'm still here. And
I'm starting to share it.
We're
That's
gonna
why he
do
looked at
this.
me in another way.
it's the type of feeling that you get from
Right.
meeting a friend
That can relate to
that can
all
relate
this.
to everything, because we
Well, we
knew-
validified each other.
we
Whatever was said
yeah.
about me or him, we know. I mean, neither one of us was gonna tell us a story. We were
Right.
gonna tell the truth,
And it is the
and
truth.
we
Yeah.
know what we witnessed. We know what we saw. We know who was there at that time, and
you
you
had
know.
to be there,
you had to be there.
yeah, to realize the fun that we had, even though he was my rival, and he, people used to think of it that way.
Yeah, because he went down the block.
And
Where'd he go? He went to the candy store. What'd you do? He went down the block.
Revelation.
So that's what you gotta tell people that he went down the block. Okay.
To another
So now
bar.
explain-
Yeah, he went to a club.
All right. Here's the thing that people need to understand. It's 1972, 73. Okay. Disco is not disco. Soul music. You know,
it was mixed.
mixed
Good-
R&B dance, however you want to call
Good
it.
title. Wasn't disco.
No, it wasn't disco.
It was soul. It was obscure soul music.
It was.
It wasn't played on AM radio other than WWRL,
Right.
right?
And you
On
used to-
1600.
And you used to come
And-
in and say, Bobby Bird played this, and
Right.
and Frankie played that,
Right.
and you
Hal
know,
Jackson and all those
right,
guys.
right.
Right, that's where it was coming from.
And-
There was no FM.
FM was like a pirate thing, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It was all
Allison
AM.
Steele,
That's right.
she's play all night on the
Right.
radio. The
Right.
Night Bird, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't hear that. You heard she played rock music,
Right.
right? But even then, we would find danceable tracks and beats in some of the rock music,
And we,
right?
Right.
Like, you know, and a lot of that was derived from Francis. Because Francis really was
Francis
innovative.
Grasso, right?
Who,
Right,
who,
Francis
who was
Grasso.
Francis?
That's exactly right.
Frankie Grasso was
Francis Grasso.
Right.
one of them.
And he played a lot of that stuff.
Right.
He even played what we call today reggae, which was Exuma.
That's right. Exuma,
Right?
Spider-Man.
The Exuma 1, Exuma 2, the first two albums had Obia Man.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, which I got a
And
12 inch
Exuma.
of that. You believe that?
Really?
Yeah.
So, you know, we were playing beats. You know, they were drums, they were Osibisa.
But
Was an
vocal
African
chant
band.
with a vocal chant.
Right, with a vocal chant.
Right.
Bohannon.
Very guitars, very short JBs, very Jimmy Castor,
Yeah,
the main ingredient.
right.
I mean, Blue Magic.
Blue Magic.
I mean, Van McCoy.
Van McCoy.
I mean, they started changing when Barry White came, and this whole thing started. I remember Richie playing Love Steam and then Rock the Boat. You know, I mean, and I was like,
See, now, hold on a second.
And Dweller.
See, but Nicky Siano told me that him and David Rodriguez were in Billy Smith's basement, and they saw the Love's Theme, and they grabbed the record, and David Rodriguez played it, and Nicky Siano, and the thing blew up. But I did hear from Tom Moulton that Bobby DJ broke that record. So who's the one that... I always hear a different story.
Well, see, I found out from one of my friends that we are acquainted with, Tony Gio, that nobody really broke a record because you don't know what the other part of the world was doing.
Right.
So
But we knew what Brooklyn was doing.
I knew what, right, we
You
knew
can
what.
bank on that.
That's right. And I knew all the ghetto spots because I came from the street. So, you know, I said, if I could put the street together with people that have education, which I'm not saying that the kids that in the street have no education, but if you put the mixture, that you have a dance floor.
Okay.
And what we wanted to avoid was confrontation and keep everything in peace, like John Lennon said. But going back to the beginning is, we didn't know what we were doing. And like you said, rock the boat. Richie
Richie.
played.
Richie, did you play that Rock the Boat, brother?
Times.
Don't
rock
be
the boat.
honest.
It's a shame,
Right,
right?
right.
Spinners.
Yeah. And then
Detroit
tell the truth.
Emeralds.
You know?
No, because those records were brand new. They weren't exhausted on radio like they are.
No,
now.
no.
they
Don't
were
bring
fresh.
back the memories of Four
Right.
Tops.
So now take me on a day, because we're gonna end this. We're gonna wrap this up. But take me on a day. Like for example, everybody got their records from Ronnie Cole's, in Broadway. Okay, Colony.
Yeah.
Right.
49th Street and Broadway.
Everybody ran to Colony. Why? Why Colony? Was there any other record shop like Vinyl Mania? Was there another?
Colony, no. Colony closed at 2 in the morning.
That's right.
2 o'clock in the morning.
A lot of clubs, you know.
And I made a report. I remember I made a, well, I was sent there. Francis sent me there.
That's right.
He says, you want the music? You got to go to Colony.
But you have to look.
And ask for Ronnie.
See, the whole thing is...
So he did.
That's
They
what Francis
did.
said.
Yeah.
Hey, repeat that again. Francis said what? Where were you when he told you this the first time?
Oh, that was in the sanctuary.
Oh,
But the first time I
He used
met
to
him,
ask for a list,
yeah, he used to write it down and give it to me.
What list?
A playlist.
a playlist.
I said,
Because
what was that you
Every
just
record
played?
he played,
I'd say, what's
Richie,
that?
what's that? And Bacho
So he would have a pen. You have pencil and paper.
No, he wrote it down.
He wrote it down.
That was
But how coherent was he? Because I heard he was not coherent.
Well, he was coherent enough when it came to the music.
Right. And
You
he
know
also
what I mean?
showed up whenever he wanted
And he
to.
also liked the fact that the accolades. I was so interested in
So-
what he was doing, and I was in awe.
Not
of,
too many people.
You know, like,
I
oh my
was
God, what is this guy? Who is this guy? You
That's the
know?
question I'm going to ask both of you.
Yeah.
You know, for representation of Francis Grasso, for a quick gleam into the time, like if you were able to jump in a time machine, okay, I would have to say Clute, the Jane Fonda movie, would probably be the only thing where you could see something where you would see him working.
Right.
Maybe the music wasn't matching because it's Hollywood. But was he truly like that? Like he was like on an altar and his hands were up and he was going wild. Was he really like that, Richie?
Yes. He was
Bacho?
like that even in the Haven.
That's right.
What's the Haven?
The Haven.
I know what these things are. The Haven, I have to understand. People are probably saying Haven.
Yeah.
What year is Haven now?
1969.
Haven.
That's when I met
So
him.
really, you're telling me this guy? It really
He was a
it
genius.
derives to him.
He was a genius.
Absolutely. There may have been people playing songs, just playing them like we would play them in our house.
Right.
But he actually had a link that there was a continuous music, that
That's
it
right.
didn't stop.
Right.
All right.
It didn't stop and start, stop and start.
Right.
It had a
But-
whole flow to it, which was amazing.
But see, what was more intriguing about the '70s, was the fashion.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there was fashion.
There was fashion.
Tell me about that.
Fashion was.
Mo, I remember one thing I'm going to hit you with, okay? I was just talking to my friend Gigi because he's another fashion guy.
Right.
And he was talking about mohair suits.
Right.
Mohair was a big thing in the 70s. Mohair.
Well,
Not that I would wear a mohair suit, but he said that was
well,
hot.
For the pimps.
right for the
I had a
right
hat,
for the
a Moe hat.
right
You know? For the pimps.
the Harlem crew.
Up
you
in
know?
uptown.
Yeah, uptown. But I stood in Brooklyn and the Lower East Side,
Okay.
so I can't tell you what happened far off from anything.
I'll tell you the stores. I used to go to Granny Takes a Trip,
That's right.
right?
What's
Jump
that?
Different
flesh.
drummer.
What's Granny take a trip?
Yeah. You're like, what's Granny?
Granny Takes a Trip was a clothing store that sold English clothing.
That's
Okay.
right.
And at the time it was like midriff shirts when our bellies weren't so
That's
big,
right.
right?
And we were young and we were hot.
Right. And we'd wear like pins.
When were you ever hot, Bacho? Because your attitude is hot.
hot
I don't know
all the
about
time.
you being hot, bro. I know you a long time.
It's
Elvin's in the house. Everybody give Elvin a what's up. Sandra
Yeah.
Paradise
What
Lady.
up, brother?
All
Much
the
love.
garage people are starting to come on. They're coming on slowly,
What
but they're
up?
coming out. They're probably saying, what the hell are they doing out in Long Island?
Yeah, well, we came to visit Lenny. We got stuck in traffic. We could have been here earlier. But Harry had to go a different way.
And we had Buffalo
And
Wild
he had to go
Wings.
to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
Rich Lamont says, Granny took a trip. Sounds good.
Granny Takes a Trip. Granny Takes a Trip.
And Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Jumpin' Jack Flash
That's
on
right.
61st Street.
Right?
Right?
I bought my
61st
first
Street.
glitter pants.
I had silver shoes with
I had-
heels.
Yes. I had white and black heels with 3-inch platforms on the front and 6-inch heels.
Until we found the.
And then I knew that I was shorter.
Wait. Until we found the shoemaker in Brooklyn.
That could
Remember
go
the
platforms?
shoemaker
Can't make this up.
that put these platforms on the
Yeah.
shoes? All the shoes had platforms.
So everybody could be taller.
Yeah.
Yes, and then when I met a girl and I took off the shoes, I was 5 inches shorter.
She's like, what's the matter with you?
But
That's funny.
it was the truth. It was all fun.
It was.
It was no, where do you get that?
There was no backbiting either. You know
sure
how
about
certain
that? Slow down,
certain
Turbo.
certain industries would have later.
Like,
Not Capella,
no,
Steve Francis days.
no.
It wasn't like that.
But Francis had his
Well,
own
Francis
way.
was a wild dude, but he was the leader.
Yeah,
Really.
Francis was the leader, but he used to get lost on us.
Yeah,
With segments as well.
but he had a.
Yeah, like, you know, just.
I tell you, he was a creative. He had an ear for certain music that was just amazing.
I heard a story the other day, a couple of months ago, not the other day, that, made me realize how much of an impact Francis was when he played the Equals, Black Skin, Blue Eye Boys. It tore down the house. Actually ripped it.
Seriously.
And
Yeah.
I don't know, my friend at that time, and we didn't know each other, and this is not contradictory because it was now and then, so we talked these stories together
Okay.
because Richie could relate, Tony Gio could relate, and there's not many other people that could relate with that, you know, I mean, you had to be there to know what Slide played and the Family Stone. And,
Right.
you know, it was like Andrella. Hold on. And Everyday People. Records that meant something. And when you heard the drums, or like an import by Titanic, you know, it was such magic. And Richie turned me on to a lot of them. Then we used to go to Hollywood on Mondays and listen to Tony play because he's one of the better DJs at the time. And very educated guy. And, and then I had Steven on one side, David Mancuso on the other side. I mean, I'm learning from these guys, and I'm sitting in the corner.
Doing what?
Just listening.
would
Absorbing
listen.
everything. I wanted to absorb everything so I could share it with my people.
Yeah.
Because there was more out there than you could understand.
In my booth and Feel Funnies, like I didn't have a door. I had like a ledge.
That's right.
And there was a hole.
Right.
Bacho used to sit in the hole
That's right.
and just listen and look at the records, you know, and right?
Right. It was,
Go through the records on the bottom. You
and
look.
let me tell you, if they said that Brooklyn was nothing, it was something. Because it was such magic on Friday
Sorry.
and Saturday night.
We're getting
Sorry,
sexual.
folks.
You know, on Friday
When you
and
said Brooklyn,
Saturday
it got
night
me
was like-
excited.
Friday and Saturday in Brooklyn were like
Whoa.
4th Avenue lines around the corner. And I said to myself, wow. And I was working with this guy called Joe Sal. And Joe Sal was a genius too with music. See, I couldn't be jealous because I was eager to absorb the music so I could bring it from my heart like they showed me. You know, I mean, you know, that sound, that click, that you'll hear, that rhythm in the back of your head. You're going to the bathroom, I like being a woman, or the 3 Degrees, or Dirty Old Man. You know, I mean, these were records my first choice. I mean, there was the Supremes, Marvin Gaye and Diana Ross,
Gladys Knight.
and Timmy Terrell. And, you know, a lot of people don't understand this, but we weren't the first. There was people before us, and that was a jukebox.
Well, then we really want to break it down.
Yeah,
Was the person actually putting the change in the jukebox?
with
To
the people
make-
that had money.
Right.
You know, I mean, it was
So
a
let's
penny.
say
In Dr. Feel Funnies, when you walked in the door,
It was a
the
jukebox.
jukebox was in the middle of the floor.
That's right.
In the middle of the floor. As soon as you walked in, like you.
And
it
you
was
want to
a-
hear
it
your
was right
favorite
there.
record, there was a line.
There was a line. You put the quarter, and I was in the kitchen.
He was playing records out of the
Out of the
kitchen.
kitchen.
It sounded like we were playing. He was playing at the Mud
Yeah,
Club.
because it was me against the jukebox. I
right.
won.
That's right. And Tony,
That's how that
known
went
at
down.
the time, I remember one day, Richie was playing, and he had Altec Lansing speakers, and that was the big thing, and the horns,
Right.
and the place was so crowded and
Packed.
sweaty. And Tony, the owner, gives me a piece of a match, a book match, and wrote, "Lower the fucking music." I says, "What do I have to do with this?" To Richie. So I go to Richie. "Tony told me to give you this." Richie goes out of the booth. You know how Richie was. He used to get anxious. Because, it ain't no surprise to anybody. What comes with club music came drugs, then the alcohol,
And tell him to put his shirt on.
and put your shirt on, right. Right. Meanwhile, at Revelation, I could do anything.
Yeah, he was able to do it, and I couldn't. I took my shirt off, they'd go crazy. I used to be so angry at that.
But see, and when I work in Europe or somewhere, and I walk into the booth, the first thing I do is take off my shirt, even as old as I am, because I'm here to play, and I'm here to give you a good time, and and it was like so magical. I mean, there was
And no requests.
and no requests, and Richie saw me play at the sleaziest clubs.
Oh God!
I mean,
when I'd shut down the place, I go after hours. He'd be in. I would be afraid to walk in the door. It was pitch black, a little red light in the back. The music was banging, and I goes, "Bacho in here?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, he's in the back." I'm like, it'd be like, who's on the floor, who's sleeping on the side.
Right.
There would be people. It was crazy. I go, "Bacho, what are you doing in there?" He goes, "I'm working."
Can you name?
Then we were making $15. Okay, so I was
It was
rich.
5:00 in the morning.
Which is about $100 now.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah.
Another question: can you name some of the clubs that you both separately or either together played in?
Go ahead, I'll let you go first.
Broadway.
You're the
New
older guy.
Beginnings, Pinocchio's, Dr. Feel Funnies. I wasn't a resident, but there were times I played with Alfie in the Jungle.
The jungle.
You too.
Yeah.
And the biggest or the most incredible thing was when Francis allowed me to play maybe 20 minutes in the sanctuary
Probably
on a
he was
Friday.
Getting high. He was getting high.
Yeah,
So I didn't know that, Richie.
yeah.
How could you leave that part out?
I never left that. I said that.
You just never said it.
Yeah.
You didn't say it out loud.
Yeah.
Now you said it now.
Yeah.
So let me ask the question again.
Yeah.
Did you play at the sanctuary?
I wasn't a resident there, but I played.
What was it like for you?
It was amazing.
I was too busy on the
Amazing.
dance floor.
It was like, this one?
Yeah. I still ask that question when I walk into a booth.
This knob?
Turntable 1? Turntable
No, that
2?
knob.
Is this the cue?
Here, play
Now
this.
you have your Yuri. I saw your Bozak. I'm in love. It's
Wasn't
custom
many
made.
times, but it was a few
Oh,
times.
a white Bozak. That has to be nuts. That's sick. I mean, it's the best mixer I ever played on.
It's the best mixer, I think,
I
that I ever played on.
I have to say, Rudy Bozak did design a great. Well, it's actually Buzzy Beck, and
It was
they
the best. The
designed
knobs, the
fabulous.
rotary was tight. You could
Yeah.
feel it.
Oh, you could feel it on
was great.
a half.
It was great.
Because Stephen used to say, Bacho, you have to feel
Yeah.
the record coming in.
Stephen, by
because,
the way, happened to be one of the best DJs.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
How good was he?
Stephen
And
was
he
amazing.
used to pick different music from Francis.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
He played
But-
really cool stuff.
But he played the stuff in the same range, but at different times.
He had What's Going On.
Yeah.
That's the first time I heard that in
Because
Tambourine.
it was sexy.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
played that
everything
kind of
was
music.
about sex, drugs, and
Yeah.
fucking.
He wasn't playing the political music.
Yeah.
He was playing like that real,
I came
make you
from-
want to groove,
Yeah, like
dance
cool
music.
Dude, cool dude.
You know, yeah.
And
That's
that
how he
cool
was.
Dude. I mean, and then you had David Mancuso, which was completely opposite from Stephen. but knew how to bring the record
Right.
without a headphone.
And Michael Capella, you would never even hear the change.
Bobby Goodadaro.
His beats were right on. It was like you would do with the computer. He did it with vinyl.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say computer. In
I'm
front
going
of
to say it, but we don't.
Bacho.
We don't do computers.
I don't play it. I have a computer
I ain't knocking it.
for Facebook. Yeah.
Thank God. Otherwise, you'd be totally out of touch.
Yeah. But, you know, I tell you, Facebook has
You just
really
raised
brought...
the hairs on the back of Lenny.
Yeah, Facebook has finally put something together in this generation that connects people.
Yeah, this is a
And
good thing.
even if you're not in that
Right.
era,
Right.
but you're there.
Right.
That's the heavy part. And the heavy part is that I don't talk to nobody,
You talk.
but I'm here right now talking to you guys, and I wasn't tricked. I wanted to do this.
No. Okay, so now let me ask some good questions now.
Good.
This is where
Let me say about the clubs I worked in.
we're going to you now.
Yeah.
First, I want to go right to Bacho, and we're gonna come back
Okay.
to you. Okay, so we're gonna work towards the BBC. I put the microphone as we're on live, so people could see what we're doing from the '70s and stuff.
Right.
Okay, so Continental Beds, New York City.
Wow.
Frankie Knuckles and Larry are DJs there.
It was mostly Frankie Knuckles.
Right, and Larry was starting to get his grips.
Grooving and-
And he got the chance to get that slot at Continental Beds, and of course we know the story. He went and got records quickly, blah, blah, blah.
Well, there was, before them, there was Bobby DJ.
Right.
And so let's get the story straight.
So let's start from where it begins. So
It begins from Bobby Goodadaro. Bobby DJ, we used to call him. I used to say, no, let me call you Bobby, but there was too many Bobbies, and it was full of Italians. The whole industry was full of Italians. I was the only Rican,
What's a Rican?
a Puerto Rican. I was the only Hispanic ghetto with baggy pants, and I don't want to hear these people saying that they made breakdancing at the garage.
And a pork pie hat.
And they did this. I had Big Apple hats. I had all different sorts of clothing for any time of the day. And you know how I did that? I used to go to thrift shops, and that's how I learned it from Alfie. And I met Alfie at a thrift shop on 2nd Avenue.
wow.
And he told me, this is cool. So I says, wow, let me put it on. Try it on. So yeah, there was no place to go change clothes. So I took off my pants and I tried them on. I said, Alfie, how does it look? He goes, you look cool. He goes, now let's get you a shirt. And this guy didn't speak too much. He was just
Yeah, he
a
was
hell
quiet.
of a nice guy. Knew how to play records. Perfect. You know.
Well, when you say know how to play records, was he just programming to the night, or was it also the mixing as well? Because in those days, this is early time.
Program.
Yeah.
It was the selection of the record of the person behind those turntables.
Because I'll tell you why I say that. From the gay perspective of DJs, I've spoken to a lot of our friends, and they talk about how wonderful certain DJs were, but they didn't mix well.
They
Then
say that
the-
about me.
Hang on. Then there was the ones that mixed like glass, but the programming was, oh,
Yeah, after an hour, 10 minutes,
You
you
tell-
want to go home. you go down to a house club and the same beat doesn't go like it should. You know, you start at the beginning and you peak gradually, and then you come down from this quiet storm. And that was the name of the BLS show,
right.
Quiet Storm.
When we played records, or when I played records, it would be the same with Bacho. In the early '70s, it was more like you had to really know the grooves. You had to know the record. I'm talking about not listening to the record. You had to know the cuts. You had to know where the music was raised in its volume, the loops, the choruses, because everything broke into that.
Right.
You didn't, and then sometimes you waited for the end of the record, but sometimes some records, it would be where it would just like get low and it'd be like, right? And then all of a sudden, dum, dum, dun, they'd be helplessly. You know what I mean? You had to know where to do that, where it would make sense, where it would basically be the same or similar beat, not to break the dance floor, right? And people would go, ah, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
they knew the song.
Yeah, but you could break the dance floor, but you can't break a dance floor that's already there. If you know what I'm saying, if you walk into a club and the club is packed, and you know you're gonna play like Francis did, and Richie, and Tony. They we all had different venues. There was the gay, there was the black, there was the Puerto Ricans. I hate to say it that way, but they classified us as different people. And then there was.
But you are different. You're Bacho.
But
You're not mafia, Bacho.
I'm not mafia, but I did, work for some people, for many years, and they knew how to take care of their workers.
Yeah, we were talking about, we always got paid.
We always got paid.
Never did a night go, if you put the work in, you got your money.
Yeah, that's right.
There was no like, I'll give it to you next week, I'll give it to you. You got paid.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. And that's
That's
why
solid.
I asked today for half of my money. Or else I can't do it. There's no way that a DJ today gets paid or has trouble getting paid from a lot of these so-called owners, promoters, whatever you want to call them.
Sure.
I don't want to classify names because it's not right. I got screwed once, and that was the last time I'll ever get screwed.
Let me go to Earl Young. I was invited into his sanctuary at his place. I got to see all the accolades he's had, and of course all of you have a lot to do with that, helping to break his records. But one thing he did say about the Tramps, he said when he performed with the Tramps, every Italian club from New York to Boston to Philly to Florida, of course it was all mafia run, he said, but you know what? We all got paid.
See?
He said it. He said, I missed that.
That's
And
right.
that ended.
Or they give you an excuse, or there's a story, or
and
they
sometimes
got lost.
more.
And yes.
And sometimes more. You would go,
We were
wait a
speaking
minute.
to
They go,
Harry.
no, you did a great job tonight.
About Harry, where he worked in the club, and the guy gave him $100 every time he played White Horse. Come on.
White lines.
White
Lines.
Lines or White Horse, whatever. Honestly, I'm bad with names.
That was a good night
That was a good night for
when he
you,
came
huh?
down. He was
Yeah.
the owner.
I'm telling you.
And a separate, I used to get a separate
Allowance.
allowance for records. I used to get $80 for records.
That was a
And
lot.
they didn't
That
keep
was a
the
lot
records.
No, because you left the
I left them there. Until I didn't come back anymore.
right.
I took them with me.
He took him away. The one night he took him out, he was gone. That guy's probably dead already. But that's the only way you have to do it, because I did it recently in the last few years. I had to walk out of a club because the club owner was driving me batshit.
Yeah, but you used to take the equipment.
I took everything.
I used to take the records. He took the amps, even the disco ball off the ceiling.
I was ready to rip the walls out, the wires, because I needed cables. But, I had to hold my composure. And Patty says, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. He says because he was there that night. She had me up the ear.
With a truck.
She had me, trying to play records that I can't do. I can't play it. It's
Okay.
against my religion.
Okay, so let's turn the clock back again. We know about fashion. We know about, but let's talk. Pre-Saturday Night Fever. Start with step one. You leave New York City. Richie, you bring Dr. Feel Funny's owners and
To the sanctuary.
And I need for people to understand that. Let's start from there.
Oh.
You
Okay.
know,
So
how this all begins, because you have a concept that you need to introduce.
right. Okay. So I go to my first club. I go to the Haven. I follow Francis. I go to Sanctuary. I get this idea in my head. Nobody told me about it either. It was like an idea that why can't we do this in Brooklyn? And so I went on a search, and I went to different pubs in Bay Ridge, and I stumbled upon the Gallery. The Gallery was on 91st Street and 4th Avenue.
That's right.
It was an Irish pub, just with a jukebox, nothing special. Had a downstairs and an upstairs,
That's right.
and beautiful bar, wooden bar. There was a section with booths to eat, because it had fast food, hamburgers and whatever. And I reached out for the owners, whose name was Tony.
That's right.
And the bartender was Roger. Tony's son was Peter. And the other son was John, one of the Devlins, John Devlin, who was a really wonderful man, and very nice to me. I'll say his first and last name. He was a great guy. And honestly, I went back that night, and then I went back another night. It's a little vague on me, but I went back another night. They were all there. I shared with them. I told them, listen, there's something happening in Manhattan. I think maybe you should check it out. I have a little bit of a feel for it. I do something there. I know the DJ and all that kind of stuff. And I said, I'll take you. We went on a Sunday. It was a Sunday. And we got down there. It was pretty late. It was late for them. You know what I mean? I had no idea. It was like 11, 12 o'clock at night. We got into the place. They could not believe what they were looking at. They couldn't believe what was going on in that place. They were like, what is this? I said, well, listen to the music. It don't stop. And I introduced them. Francis met them, right? And he had nothing to say about it. He was just playing his music. And they said hello. And then they said, well, listen, you know what? Come tomorrow night to the bar and we're going to talk, right? They took me home. They dropped me off. And that was the end of that story. I go back the next night, and they ask me, well, what do we need to do? How do we do this? What is it you need? What is it you need to make that happen? That was the question.
That's right.
I says, well, we need 2 turntables. We need, I wasn't real clear about the mixes and stuff. I was naive to a lot of things. And what speakers and that kind of stuff, I knew there, but then I didn't associate what was in there was going to be put in this bar. You know what I mean? Because you know what? It was a dream, and I never thought it would be a reality. I never thought it would be what it would be. I just said, maybe it's a great idea, right?
Right.
And they had me in the kitchen. And they had the jukebox play. I played like an hour and a half. And the jukebox played 2 hours. They said, we're going to find out, because it was a packed place. The place was packed anyway.
Already, right.
It was just a crowded place,
That's
popular place, neighborhood place.
Right.
And when I would stop and the jukebox went on, they would be like, ooh, oh. They would hear all kinds of noises. And finally they said to me, because
This would work.
they said,
This could
what
work.
do we need? I said, well, first of all, you got to get me out of the kitchen. Because I used to wear a hat in the kitchen because they used to pass hamburgers over my head. You know what I mean? And the grease used to fall. I'm not even lying. It's
No,
the truth.
he's saying the
And,
truth.
you know, and I was right near the swinging door. The swinging door was here, and I was like right here.
And you were next to the bathroom,
You know,
remember?
with 2 short mic mixes and 2 turntables.
Right.
And I told
They
them.
were Thorns.
Yeah, they were Thorns then.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I told them what we need, and they went and got it. They shut the club down.
For
And they- and
3
they-
weeks. Something.
Yeah, and they built a booth, and they set the thing up. They put the
He had a. I mean, I used to travel long ways just to
Right.
go see him because I knew that the clubs like the Fresh, the Kentucky, the clubs in New York were happening then. You know, I mean, everything was starting to happen in New York.
there
New
was
York,
nothing in Brooklyn.
there was nothing.
I don't
in
care what
Brooklyn.
anybody says.
That's right.
I came to Brooklyn, there was nothing but bars. That's what was in Brooklyn. There was no DJs. There was nobody being called a DJ. There was nobody playing music. There was none of that.
Right.
And I'm not being grandiose or any of that stuff, but let's keep it clean.
Well, you're
The
grandiose.
real deal is that that's how the story went. What happened after they shut that club down and put it up, it really didn't matter to me no more. I was in my sanctuary. I was in my safe place. I was where I wanted to be. I was playing music.
Right.
It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about any of that stuff. It wasn't a negotiation. Well, give me this and give me that. It was none of that. Okay? And all of a sudden, there was this explosion. So my question to anybody out there would be this. There's no recollection of Dr. Feel Funnies.
Or-
I've searched. I've been
It
internet.
exists, though. I
He
told
did.
about
It
No, it
I was
exists.
there.
Yeah,
I
but
was
hold
there.
on, hold on. Yeah, you were there. And it exists by some people that were there. But there's no pictures. There's no pictures of me. There's no, for the people that may think that I wasn't there. So my question is this. And again, it's not about being grandiosity. It's about, there's books written, and there's books written about Brooklyn, but I ain't in it, and neither is he. So I don't understand how people have stories if they didn't go to the club that I played in,
But meanwhile, we
or
were
went
in
in
the
the club
trade.
that he played in.
But we were in the trade magazines.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's how the hypocrisy that people had.
You know, and I get passionate about it. I don't get angry about it.
You get angry.
Well, I get angry a little bit, but it's the kind of thing where people say things that were not there,
And we were there before.
and I was there, and he
That's
was
the
there.
annoying part is that everything is. I don't want to mention names.
I'm not going to mention any names.
No, yeah, you know, and everything that has happened and every story that has been told was done after it was
Already done.
in Brooklyn.
Exactly.
But Francis did have the whole clip because
I'll go to my grave talking about Francis.
and Alfie too.
I don't
So-
care who was speaking. I mean, listen, I didn't know Terry Knowles. I didn't even know about Terry Knowles until I started talking to Lenny. I've been in Arthur, and I wasn't about looking at
That
who the
place
DJ
sucked.
was. But the bottom line was this. The first guy that ever changed a record that I heard that I could talk to anybody during that era that he mentored was Francis Grasso. And that needs to go down just like it is. And that is in a lot of books.
He's a legend.
He's definitely a true legend
Right.
of vinyl.
Right.
That man right there. But
Of
when it
music,
comes to
just-
Brooklyn, I'm going to say it. It was me. I was there. There was nothing going on.
And I was right behind
And
you.
Bacho was right there. There was nothing going on. So if we talk about who the first DJ was in Brooklyn, nobody even knew what a Macintosh amplifier was.
That's right.
All right? They never saw an Altec speaker unless they went to a rock concert.
Right.
Okay? And they never sure as hell didn't hear about Bozak or Thorin or Stanton cartridges, because that's what I used
Oh,
at the
sure.
time.
Oh, sure.
I used Stanton. I used Stanton cartridges on my turntables, on my needles. Bacho went down the block and did the same thing with Revelation, and he got the job. So right now you're looking at 1 and 2. That's what you're looking at in Brooklyn.
And Joe Sal.
In Brooklyn.
Right.
Yeah, but there was a lot of other guys too after. I'm not going to take that away.
No.
No, after there was plenty.
Here's the thing.
They're copycats.
Here's the thing. The biggest thing for somebody is to copy what you do, because that means you're a success at what you do.
I am a true success of what I've done.
Okay, you have.
I could walk into a booth and say, "This is my land."
Okay, so when RSO Records came to Brooklyn and decided to produce.
By the way, they went bankrupt.
Correct, Robert Stingwood. Thank you so much, Bacho.
I had to say that.
Thank you. I just took my train of thought. Okay, so let's ask this. Let me put this out again. So now we're gonna go 1976.
There was a lot happening back then.
Oh, about that point. But I'm gonna say this. It's gonna go back to the point where I'm gonna bring you back to 73. In 76, an article comes out in the New Yorker magazine about a tribal night, and they talk about a guy that went to work from Monday to Friday, from Brooklyn, an Italian boy, and his biggest thing was to be a superstar and sign on the dance floor. He wasn't a DJ, he wanted to be a dancer. It was more important to be a dancer in the neighborhood
That's right.
than it was to be a DJ. That came later. So, we say that part of it is commercialism.
Yeah.
So, but in the parts, like for example, Saturday Night Fever, you hear this. I was at Revelations. I was at Gazebo. All these clubs were going on at the same time in Brooklyn.
Right.
How many clubs were going on in Brooklyn around 73, 74?
2.
That's it.
At that time, they were all other bars. Because that's the truth. You know, I mean,
There's only 2 clubs?
At that time that I know, that we knew, and where the pretty girls came, wherever there's beautiful women, there's a lot of guys. And the guys used to get decked out. Not that bullshit like John Travolta and all that. None of that bullshit, you know. I mean, that's all garbage. I mean, we would dress like to go out, wear heels, wear nice shorts.
See, but most of us, we went to the city.
Yeah.
When we were done, we
were
didn't
out.
stay in Brooklyn.
Right.
I used to go to Manhattan.
Right.
He went to Manhattan. We went to Manhattan together.
Yeah.
I'd meet him. Sometimes we'd we'd go down and get the R train
The R train.
on 4th Avenue,
That's right.
and we'd go to we'd go right to the city. We'd go
sometimes-
see Alfie. We'd go see Michael. We'd go see. That's what we did together.
And then
But we
there
were
was-
done for the night.
Yeah,
4
but
o'clock, our
we
place shut.
weren't done because we had to get home, and sometimes we used to fall asleep on the train, and we used to go back and forth to Coney Island in Brooklyn, a few times because we were totally out of it, danced, exhausted, sweated,
Yeah.
you know.
And it was the after-hour places. You know, the after. I would say this. I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna say this to be maybe 100%, but I go out on a limb and say this. There were probably after-hour clubs right after we started. Before clubs started opening.
Right.
Like there was the King of Clubs on Kings Highway.
That's right. That's right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
There was a
Tony
place.
Baba.
Right,
Yeah.
Tony Baba. There was that other place. When Vinny left Dr. Field Funnies, the bartender, he opened up an after-hour place on West 6th or West 7th Street.
And Avenue U.
And Avenue U.
Right.
Right?
Right.
What was it? The Blue Door?
I don't
Or
know.
one of those places?
It was.
There was places that you could go at 4:30, 5 in the morning,
And my girlfriend, we lived on West 5th Street.
and they were open. But there weren't clubs.
Right. And also.
So then the clubs started to come. It's real touchy because people, listen, years
They-
are not really focused in my head. You know what I mean? I'm bad with years and numbers.
But there was
I'm
other
not good
things
with it.
happening. There was other things happening.
There
We
were
didn't
things
know
happening.
in New York. We can't take. We're not taking the. We're only taking the credit of 4th Avenue in Brooklyn.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
You know, I'm not claiming that I opened the Jungle or
Right.
Together. I can name all the clubs that I've been in all of
You
them.
know, I mean,
But I can claim what I said.
right. I
And
mean,
he was there.
I worked in a club called the Waterloo. Remember 9th
Yeah.
Street? And I worked in a tree. And the DJ,
Yeah.
I mean, and now it's apartment houses you can't even afford.
Right.
Yuppies.
You know Jeff Glick? I'm sure he might be watching this. Jeff Glick's mom owned the club on on Flatbush Avenue,
Yeah,
Kings Highway, or
Yeah.
something. Pinocchio's. That was around.
that was hot.
That was a hot club.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Then there was Coney Island. They had that.
The bumper cars.
The bumper
That was
cars.
Nicky.
Yes, I didn't want to say that, but yeah.
Why? Nicky was in there. Nicky, where did, they would go there to listen to. He played great music in there.
Yeah, they had a good sound system.
He had a good sound. He had a great sound
Nicky
system.
Ciano.
Absolutely. He played in it. They used to go there not even to ride the thing. They wanted to dance.
That's right.
Or
Or hang outside the formulate.
hang outside. Exactly. You know, what else? Where else was there? There was,
There was a lot of clubs, but in general, the only credit that we got denied was that we worked in Brooklyn, and I also in the 70s I got put down from leaving Brooklyn to go into the city to Plato's Retreat. At the same time, the Studio 54 opened. At the same time, the garage opened. And then there was this club called Plato's Retreat.
Mm.
And we all had the same clientele. Because everybody jumped from bar to bar. Then you had your earlier clubs, you know, but I never got credit for what I'd done in Plato's. But meanwhile, I was a 10-star reporter. Right, for all the trades and the radio stations. How you think they got their music? They didn't go out shopping for it. There wasn't promoters promoting records.
that's right.
There was probably one promoter that I knew and one A&R. That's Glenn LaRusso and Roy B. from Roulette.
And Roy B. was really like.
I mean, they liked the energy I brought to the stage.
He loved Bacho.
You know,
Roy B. loved
I
Bacho.
mean, the energy of playing Ask Me or any of those records, and then I got privileged to play 10%. You know, I mean, this is all going on, and meanwhile, all the records that were B records to me, those are the records that they want now. So that just shows you that the ear I had, because I love to dance. That's my passion, you know. And I still love to dance.
So when you say B records, name out some B records, please.
That's a B records.
All right, let's start with your A records. Give me your A records.
All Philly. All Motown. In the late 70s, you could talk to.
Yeah, Plato's era.
Plato's era, Donna Summers.
You didn't play Joe Thomas, Plato's.
That was not the truth, man. I'll tell you the story on Plato's Retreat. because
Lenny's starting stuff.
because I bought the record myself in the store. So my boss didn't have nothing to do with it. It was this guy, Joe Thomas, that did Why Can't We Live Together?
Timmy Thomas.
Timmy Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and it was the same label, so I picked up the record. And Nick says, was it Nick? Or Shirley? One of the two stores. It was Rock and Soul, or it was, Walter says, listen, you made a record? Walter Gibbons. I said, I didn't make no fucking record. You know? He says, listen to this. I said, the only record I know is from the Midnight Sex Blue show on Al Goldstein's Screw Magazine show at Plato's Retreat. You know, it was a show, Midnight Blue. And that's the only thing I knew. But then Plato's Retreat by Joe Thompson said, yo, this record sucks. That's a B record. And I'll be honest, I used to hate it. I hated the Weather Girls. Those are records like Patrick Hernandez. I mean, these are records that I couldn't see me playing because it wasn't my type of energy.
Born to be alive. Is that?
Yeah, I'd rather play the Gary's Gang.
Gary's
right.
the Empire. Gary's Empire.
Yeah, you would play Kool and the Gang and things like that.
Yeah,
because this is what the crowd of New York City wanted. Yeah. They were feeding on this. So I says, wow, this is real cool. I had nothing to do with this record.
Right.
And so every time I had to play it because my boss.
Brooklyn, we pretty much introduced the 5-man vocal group, the Joneses, Part 1, Part 2 records, right? You got to buy always 2 or 4, because Part 1 was on one side, Part 2 was on the other.
Everybody's doing edits now.
Right? Follow the Wind.
Yeah.
Had Part 1, Part 2.
Right. Tribe.
The Tribe. Had Part 1, Part 2. That was Coke, right? What was his name?
Coke,
the song was called Coke.
Coke.
Right.
Which Elvin turned me on to the album, and I saw it the other day. I said, I got this album. The writing was so small that I couldn't see the name of the record. But it wasn't that about the record. It was about the 45.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
and you got to realize something. When you played 45s, you got to have a lot of them. We played from 7, 8 o'clock at night till 4 in the morning.
Right. And now
there was no, no breaks. You had to play Melting Pot or put on, what was that long song?
Donna Summers?
No, not just way before that.
Love to Love You?
No, before that. I can't think of the name of it. Oh, Creative Source.
Oh, Who Is He and What Is He?
Who's He? What is He's You? That was long.
Yeah.
That was a bathroom song.
Yeah, but
I could run to the bathroom.
You could go through your crowd and go to the bathroom? You're out of your mind. I used to pee in a container.
Yeah, well.
I'll be honest.
It was crowded.
I'm telling you, I couldn't get back to the booth in time to change the record.
Yeah. Sometimes it'd be going.
I'll be right there. I'm screaming all the way to the booth. I'm coming. Yeah. And Corky, the owner from Revelation, used to say, he says,
can't do this, Bacho.
Yeah. He says, but I had to take a picture. I said,
for now. Used to go, what are you doing?
We had to go to the bathroom.
You got to go to the bathroom.
Hey, what do you think these baseball players go between innings? They go into the dugout, take a quick piss, and that's it. So, I got a milk container, and I peed. Then when it got full, then
there were certain sets too that we played.
Right.
Like.
But we never really repeated what we wanted to do.
No, not really. There was a time on the live Apollo James Brown album.
Oh.
There's a whole side. Francis turned me on to that. He used to play that in the Haven.
Yeah.
He would play it in the Haven. The whole side of the record.
Yeah.
And everybody knew. When he was, it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
You guys need to take a break? You okay?
No, I'm good. You got me now. You
All
better
right.
just take me going.
I want to make sure it's like ABC,
It's so funny that people.
Chi and Peppy.
Yeah, but those was records with 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Or 2 minutes and
15 seconds.
We didn't have time. I mean, I was telling Richie, I says, I have these records, and people are collecting these records now, and making these long edits of them. But it's,
they gotta leave stuff alone.
Yeah, it was.
They gotta stop taking every record.
There was a meaning. There was a meaning for that record, and the talent of vocal singers went out the window.
It takes the story
artists,
away.
The artists were depleted. Everything is
and the
instrumental.
artist gets no credit.
And right, they get no credit.
And the artist gets no credit.
Right. I mean, and
Those were
today,
great artists.
and today you walk around with one of these, and you're a DJ. One of these. Where's the camera? These. This one. You
What
know,
is that you have in your hand?
I don't even know what it is.
It's a flash.
Because you grab something, you like
Well, it looks like what they put into
the machine.
in the machine.
So what's the machine we're talking about?
Yeah, what is the machine?
You really want to talk about that? You know, that's going to really knock a lot of people off their feet because you know
I don't
why?
even know the name of the machine.
I think it's called. It's a
It's
CD
like a
player.
Twilight-
I own
it's
one.
like a Twilight Zone moment. What's the machine?
The
What's the
machine.
machine? You
The
know the
machine.
machine?
Yeah. It's,
Oh, you know the machine.
I know the machine because
Did you ever play on the machine?
no, I
Don't
play.
lie.
I play.
Look at me.
No. Of course, you know that was part of our growing up. You know, I give credit where credit's due, but don't take it off for the artist.
Okay. So you're working on Thorne's turntables, both of you, because I know both of you did.
Yeah.
How many times a night will you change your rubber bands? Because those are belt-driven turntables.
Yeah. No. We. Yeah.
Not at night. Once in a while.
Once in a while, but you always have to have a spare.
You had to have it.
You have to have a pair.
What happens if you didn't have them?
And a fuse.
You play with one, you know. It was before two turntables. Let's go before two turntables. There was a turntable and a cassette player. Am I right?
I had an 8-track.
An 8-track. He had an 8-track. He was rich. You know, it was that and a cassette player or 8-track. And so you only had one turntable, and then you let the record finish, and you push this button. Now today you use one square piece of material that does the mixing for you.
I used to record every time I played.
I mean, you know.
I used to give them away.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, me.
I used to
So
I used
hold
to
on,
pull
let
the
me- let
8-track
me ask
out
a
and give
question.
it.
So the car wash on 86th Street that had those tapes, 99X and all those tapes, were those some of your tapes?
I don't know.
We always wondered about that.
On
I don't know.
86th Street?
You know, there's a car wash over there. Used to sell them. They used to have those 8-track tapes.
I had nothing to do with that.
Okay.
I had nothing to do
Yeah.
unless
No,
somebody
somebody
gave.
was taking your tapes because there was nobody. You know, they would
Well,
write.
Roger used to always want my tapes.
They would write on there Revelation. They would write on here.
Or
they-
stamp it Revelation.
Right, stamped at Revelation.
Yeah, I said, yo, don't get me in trouble. I says, because I refuse to make things for people. Because if you want to hear me, you come and listen to me.
I didn't make them. I just used to
You
stick
know,
them in.
I mean,
give 'em away.
my part of the art is come hear me play, and you get me live. There was people that used to tape Francis on cassettes. I don't want to say names, but there's people that tape Francis live.
I got questions about that
Yeah, but I want to ask that question.
because
How do you walk into a? I'm going to
I
ask.
don't remember
Now,
cassettes.
now we're talking about. No, we're talking.
I
about
don't remember
60s.
cassettes in
There was
19.
no cassettes.
But
in
this
the-
is what they-
cassettes.
The only thing that I
But they
know.
played it for me.
There was 8
and
tracks.
Hold on, wait a second.
No, wait.
The only thing that really would have been possible at that time would have been
Reel to reel.
an open reel to reel with a microphone.
Right. That's
See,
right.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Honestly,
like an Ampex reel to reel.
this is what they told me.
Mono.
But I heard the
There's
footsteps.
no way- there's
Let's
no-
see, because in
What do you hear? What do you mean you hear footsteps? Let's
Okay.
start the question again. They talk about the sanctuary. We're going back to the 60s into the early 70s. They talk about that there is these recordings.
Right.
What kind of recordings are these?
Bootleg. I don't know. Maybe somebody
Listen,
taped it like they do now. They
Yep.
they
Wait a
tape
minute.
right now. They tape.
listen. No one ever went in Francis's booth. Listen to what I'm telling you. Anytime I was there, and I was there a lot, no one was in there.
That's right.
No one. And he never recorded anything that I knew, that I saw.
Well, okay.
You know what I mean? I never saw. He was just always
out of it.
playing.
Yeah.
There was never like he had to fix something or change. He wasn't like that. He was very elusive and bouncy and not talkative, not a loud guy, not at all. you know, feeling the music, pointing, opening his arms, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because he had the
Chewing
crowd,
gum. He always chewed bubble gum.
He had the crowd by the balls. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the whole idea is.
But I don't remember anybody in there.
Well, I don't know. This is what they
Even
played
in
for me.
Haven.
They played it for me, part of it, and it was a song. It was Slide, Family Stone, so I could remember something like that.
Which one? Because you know what he used to do? He used to take the part of Stand.
Right.
Stand, dun, 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 and he used to play 2 copies.
Yeah.
He used to
Like
play
you would ask me. It used to drive me crazy. That drives me nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, I like hearing
Used
the
to
record
go on.
play.
It was great. It was something different.
Or Think About It. Or by Lynn Collins. You know, when that numbers when they
the Barcades sang in there. Na, 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 na.
Yeah, you know.
I'd put that in the middle, especially if I knew that I was going to miss the record. I'd start that to get the other
fuck
record.
It, I'll go right to the beginning of the fucking record. Yo, I mean, I had that fucking attitude. Yo, dance to this until I find another record. You know, I mean, there was times I did it once, twice until I found the right record to play. You know, I'm still in love with your Bozak.
So that's where that comes from, huh?
Right.
Okay. Now, moving forward.
Now they do looping, they call it
No.
looping.
I'm talking the 80s now. Okay. I'm going to go back to what you said.
The 80s.
You want to understand why things were not written down, what was happening. There was a time in the let's say early 80s to the 80s, after the disco thing ended, when disco died, owners, bartenders, DJs did not want association with that word, period. And you guys remember that, when the end of disco. So a lot of the history that you both created kind of went into an archive, right? So no one's around to talk about it, okay? WBLS in New York is playing R&B dance music now, okay? Because they kept some of the records I think that were left over was like Mainline, some things that were part of disco.
Pipeline.
But, right. That was still part of disco, but not
80s.
Really. What's about 79, 80, 81? Okay.
Yeah.
So what's good about this is that finally people get to hear this truth come out. This is really important part of it because someone like myself who has traveled the world to play music, I had asked these questions in the 80s because, you know, there was no people who were around in the 70s, like Eddie Rivera, Bobby Davis, may he rest in peace. They're all dead now, of course. And I asked that question to Bobby Davis. I said to Bobby Davis, I'll never forget, I said, who was the first guy that mixed? And he says, you want to know who it was? Francis Grasso. Hands down, he said, Francis Grasso. He said, all of us, including from Mancuso's Pool 99 Prince, because we all broke off from there. It all starts with him from Sanctuary.
That's right.
Yeah, but before the pool started, it was a meeting in Hollywood that started the record pool. Let's get that straight.
Okay, so now take us to the meet. Now, what
Where
year
was the meeting that you said?
What year is this meeting at the Hollywood Club?
It was the year the record pool
I don't
opened.
remember the year. He says I was there.
Yeah.
You must have been.
I don't remember.
Joe Sal took me. Tony told Joe Sal to bring me. But you were there, and I'm saying to myself, now, Tony Gio was holding this meeting with the record companies because the record companies got tired of all these DJ and so-called coming into the record labels and being annoying and tearing up their offers and, 75 Rockefeller. What do you get? I used to want to go by myself because this way, or I went with Joe Sal because I knew Joe, or I seen Richie, and we go meet at downstairs and do our re-ups all over. People don't understand. There's something that they didn't want. So Tony invited all these labels.
They didn't want us to have a sense of entitlement. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Like, be privileged to have you, Because it started to become an overflow. I mean, everybody wanted, right? Everybody thought they were entitled to get a record.
Right. Then they started asking for letterheads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
I asked my bosses for a letterhead, and they looked at me. We don't even know. We don't even know paper.
What's a letterhead?
You know, it's like,
We're trying to hide the bar money. We want a letterhead?
yeah. You're right. With a stamp. My boss
That
said,
comp stamp, right? That special
yeah,
stamp,
that
right?
special stamp. You know, the liquor license stamp, whatever it was.
Right.
So now you don't need that anymore.
Funny.
Right, you know, and so he held this whole meeting with Stephen, David, Joe Sal, Bobby DJ, Michael Capello. Francis wasn't there. There was like 15 of us. And that's where the record pool started, really. You know, I mean, it was like an idea, and then David was opening up 99 Prince Street from having his club on Broadway. And when he opened it, see, I miss my friends. You know, nobody misses their friends like I do, because I learned. They wanted to teach. We wanted the heart. We didn't want the bullshit. Everybody became a mixer, a producer,
A remixer.
An
An
asshole.
editor. Re-editor.
You know, I mean, it's like, it wants to make me cry, you know what I mean? Because it wasn't,
Which is okay.
you know,
Which is okay.
at night,
Things have to
at night,
advance.
at night, I hold myself like this. At night, thank you. At night, I hold myself, you know, sitting in my chair that when you guys see me, and I'm listening to music and thinking about what I miss. And the closest thing I ever had right now, as friends with music, the closest thing is Elvin Reyes. You know, I mean,
I know that.
he.
But I know you longer.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
But I know that. We all
Yeah.
know. Elvin Reyes is like, to me, a purveyor of this thing. He has such love. I can't explain the love this man has for it.
No.
He just loves it so much.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he wants it to stay
And-
true.
And I want him to continue.
But I'm a historian.
Okay, I
That's
I
the
know.
difference.
I didn't know this about
That's
you.
a difference.
See, I didn't know that about you.
I did.
He knew
Well,
that.
you knew, but you said Lenny's a
Richie
nice
came
guy.
to see me, and then
Yeah, but then he says he's a nice guy. He's a nice, and then I have to hear Harry say he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. I says, I know he's a nice guy. What the fuck you want me to say?
As undo me being nice.
You know.
I'd like to get the truth out as well.
No, they got a feel for the music. They got. Listen,
you're right. It's
listen,
but there's not many people that really, what you call these shows that are being monotonous and annoying, and
Hold on.
and they hear the same
Well,
beat.
I want to hit into this because Jackie McCoy had wrote in and said he's on the phone with Tony Gio, and he said there was about a dozen of you there
Yeah.
at that meeting. He
Okay,
remembered.
you're
Jackie McCoy just wrote in before. So you
Okay.
go to
Yeah, so he was part of that.
Jackie McCoy was there too. So was
Yeah.
Tony Gio and some
Yeah,
other.
yes.
They're actually answering right now.
Right.
Good.
They're
Good.
verifying what you're saying.
What's up, Jackie?
Yeah. And,
Tony
and-
Joffa, it says it's beautiful. I mean, aside from the BBC stuff, we're talking. We'll let them know that we're talking just as friends.
Yes, I'm not knocking the people I know in the business, because Jackie was part of Dink 99
Prince Street.
Prince Street, and you know they were from Long Island, where I am now, and Long Island and the city. I you know, I felt like it was a little different, because you know that Long Island, I mean Queens and Long Island had that, not that as comfortable feeling as in the city. You know.
Let's say something about this. Let me say something about Harry and Lenny. Why I friended you guys. First of all, I get along really well with you, but the main thing is that never once did you ever try to be what you did for music. I looked it up. I researched him, and I researched you, and I said, you know, these guys got, this is why, when I called you, I says, these guys got a history. They got a cool history, and they don't brag about nothing. Nothing. You know what I mean? And I never did either. I told you what happened.
It wasn't
I
about
told Harry today the story. Heck, all my friends never knew I did that. None of them. None of them.
No, it
This
was
is why I say,
He was.
Louis Mario, God bless him. Because that phone call came to my house and changed my life and restored something that I thought I would never, ever, ever see again. The records came out of the basement, got wiped down with the alcohol. They laugh when I tell them this. I wiped down with the alcohol and all of that stuff, and it was that phone call. So, and then through that, I was interested in the house music, and I would listen to you, and I'd listen to you, and I look, and I reached out, right? I reached out. I'm a go guy. It wasn't for any other reason but to get to know you.
Yeah, but Richard,
That's it.
The reason why I can't reach out to some people, because if you didn't know me 40
I gotta
fucking
push
years,
you.
Yeah, you didn't know me 40 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
Why know me now?
No. I know. No. I'm not going with that. We have Mancuso's memorial. I had to make you get up and hug everybody. There's nothing to be angry with. Listen to this. Good DJ, whatever you want to say, there's something for everybody. Music brings people together. I always say this, right? So the bottom line is this. If you're playing music, it's a brotherhood. That's what it is. It's like we're in the Marines. Danny Pooch knows about this. He was a Marine, right? He was. He always
Is a Marine.
He's a Marine.
There's no
and he knows about brotherhood and like a fireman or,
And I was
or
a gang member.
policeman.
What do you want?
What about a DJ? You know what I mean? There's
No,
people
no,
that have been.
I-
Stop it.
No,
Listen,
no.
the history
I
and all
disagree.
of this, and you know what? It's nice that you even took the time out to want to hear these stories, because to be honest with you, I never sat in front of a camera and said anything to
Yeah, me
anybody
neither.
about anything. You know, when it comes to this,
I sat with one camera person, and
you went 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I spoke to
Those
the
people
people.
from where? France?
No,
London?
No, the people. She was from California.
Oh, California.
You know, very nice people.
And what they
were
want to know?
They wanted to know a little bit about the history of our culture and where it really began. And I couldn't give them. I'm not as much as I really wanted to, because you people didn't know. They didn't know me. You know, they only knew the Bacho dancer. I wanted them to know the Bacho, just the Bacho. You know,
Bacho.
You know, I mean,
There is nothing else.
you know,
the Bacho.
there's nothing else.
It's the machine.
You know, I mean, it's not. You know, it take.
Okay, Bacho, here's the question.
Go ahead.
First night playing records. First night ever.
Ever?
Ever.
I think it was Dr. Feelful is Richie.
You played Richie, Dr. Phil?
Yeah, I let him play.
He let me play.
What was that like?
Somebody let me play.
He had. I was curious, man. I loved to dance. I was sweating. And Richie had to do something, go to the bathroom. And they thought that me and Richie hated each other. We never hated each other.
No. Yeah, they used to say that.
People used
Because
to say,
he was down the block.
right. We never hated each other. You know, I mean, Richie, you know, is Richie. I respect Richie, and he respect to play the record I like to dance to. And he knew when he had his dancers on the dance floor, we were going to gather the rest of the place and join that cheer, that scream, that thing. He said, "Get the fuck out of here." He goes, "All right, let me get back in it." But Richie had it going on. I have to admit it, and so did other friends of mine that are not here anymore, and the friends that are here. Some of them don't like to even be mentioned. I mean, in the same rooms.
Well, because history is always being rewritten.
Huh?
History has always been rewritten. Who is not there?
Right.
And there's always the concept that no two people see the same thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we could look at a color and you'd say it's different, and I would say it was different. So when you say like, well, what history are you talking about? Right? But we could say there was nothing going on in Brooklyn. Brooklyn was nothing was going on there.
No, I was dancing the storm underneath the Williamsburg Bridge. Come on.
Nothing was going on there.
We were trying to get our acts together, for the weekend.
And I wasn't a smart guy behind it or any of that.
Yeah,
it was just a thought.
But
That's all it was.
there is smart guys in this music business, believe me.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know there were that many, that knew everything
No, it
else.
shocks me. I never knew there were that many DJs.
Yeah.
I'm like,
How many
where all these
legends?
DJs coming from?
How many legends?
I mean, like, all I hear, I can't believe it. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's.
Well, there's different. Listen, in every sport, there's different attributes and different accolades, and you know what? There's the sixth place award, the fifth place award.
Is that what it is?
It's like let's cheer you on for being in sixth place as a joke, of course. But
Yeah.
not everybody's great at what they do.
All right.
It's presentation.
Can I say one thing? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you don't have to interrupt me.
You know how I feel about that, right?
It's the
I'm
time.
going to excuse myself
It's
for
all.
a minute.
It's all timing. It's all timing. You know what I mean?
All right, we'll take a break for a second.
Just a break.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, it's all right.
Keep talking, Bob.
Please,
It's okay. The bathroom's right there.
Come enjoy.
The bathroom's right there.
Tony Gio sent all.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not even
Still
answering the phone.
We're still live.
My phone
We're
is
still live.
So, folks, I'm
Oh,
Harry Soto, and I've
Yo, come this
I always gotta
Saturday.
say I'm Harry Soto.
I never promoted anything in my life. I mean,
That's bull, Bacho.
known-
Get out of
I've
here. I
known-
bet you were promoting. You're
I think
always
I
promoting.
think I've known Bacho since I was, 20 years
As
old.
tall-
I
as
was
tall
20
as
years
Bacho.
old, and I'm no longer 20 years old. Let me say it's more than 40. Well, it's more than a few years gone. I've known Bacho, and I've admired everything that he's done. I've known about his history, and it was an honor to get Richie and Bacho together, it was like a dream come true to me, a dream that in fruition in the making. And this Saturday, you're going to see something, a spark that has been on, a flame that has been on for the longest. You're going to feel that. And the way these guys talk passionately about what they did back then, they're going to play their answers off Saturday, the 13th. I'm honored. I'm on the flyer, but I wanted to bring them. My work was to bring them together and to bring this night together. So I got a small venue, LP and Harmony, 683 Grand Street in Brooklyn, New York.
you got a business card?
Exactly.
And it starts at 9 o'clock, and then it's going to be all night. So please come down, enjoy us.
First, I have to get my records together. Because
And he's got tons. I went to his house, forget about it. There's even records there that they're all over. But I have a feeling that this night is going to be epic, and it's not going to stop from there. So please support, come down, share this video to other people, share the night to other people, and it's free. So
I
come
just want to
down,
have fun.
and we're going to have a good time.
The whole
And
thing is fun.
Jackie,
you want to say anything?
Jackie's saying hello to everybody.
Jackie, what's up,
Jackie
brother?
McCoy.
How you doing, man?
What's up, Jack? Wait,
Did you wanna-
let me say something about Saturday for me. It's probably going to be an emotional night for me because, you know, I take this to heart. That's my problem. You know, I mean, there's people that call it work, and I call it love. And I bring people together, and I was part of the success of Revelation. Can't forget the owners, you know. Like, you know, you can't forget people like Richie that's going to be playing next to me. And I wish there was a couple of other guys coming down and bring a couple of records and enjoy the evening with us. Because I never shared the turntable with anybody except the people from Europe. But I'm going to have fun.
I'm 1/3 Eastern European, by the way. So you're still sharing it with somebody from Europe.
Yeah, so even being at my age, even with my bad back, and you know,
What's the start time on the event on Saturday?
9 p.m.
Where is it? Give the address, please.
683 Grand Street in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, New York City, USA. There's people that are flying from other
Brooklyn,
places.
baby. Brooklyn's in
There's
the house.
people flying from other places to come to this party. There are going to be people who have been in the business of music, the business of DJing, the business of dancing, and just the love for the music. Forget about disco, house, whatever. We're just going to get down and play what we feel. We're going to have that love within us, and we're going to spread it to everybody.
I'm still deciding. You know,
He's still deciding what to play. Just play your heart out because
you know,
Listen, here's the
Yeah.
deal. Are we gonna get a phone call at 9:30? You're still trying to figure out which records you're bringing, or you're gonna have it
we
ready?
better not. 'Cause I'm going to make sure that he's there before.
yeah,
I want to make sure.
Rich Lamont says he's flying in for this.
All right, good.
Tony Trofa. A lot of people starting to come on and say, you know, they want to know again. Bacho, you tell them where you playing? Revelation Saturday? Where you playing?
Revelation. Yeah.
LP and Harmony, 683 Grand Street in Brooklyn, Williamsburg, New York.
Jay Negron's on. He's saying, yo,
Yo,
Jimmy.
Jay.
Jay was a
down.
big part of the history.
That's
Jay,
right.
Jay,
He was?
Yes, Jay was one of the guys that
Yeah, I'm
used to
being
be
an
at
ass.
the-
I know. Go ahead.
You know, the downstairs records. You know, and I met Jay.
Here's Richie.
And I turned on
Where we going?
Just
there's
plug in
Danny
the
Crivet
night.
that I give
Just
credit
plug in the
to.
night.
I give credit to a lot of these
Plug in
guys.
the night?
And especially the guys that break their ass to do it,
about
to
13th.
work that evening.
Oh, 13th. Put some music on.
You know, I mean,
Come on, Lenny.
I'm afraid because you know why? They take the whole video down.
Yeah.
but
They will?
Yeah, you never
But
know.
let
They may
me,
take-
Put something they won't know.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Put the
Facebook-
notations.
They're getting hip to that, bro. Trust me.
but
People are asking, are you going to play music from your era?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'm gonna do
And we
70, 71, 72, and I'm gonna play some. I'm gonna play some other stuff, some other
We're
dance stuff. It's
we're
all
gonna
dance,
play-
I don't know.
all
what-
vinyl.
I don't know what.
just be there and find out.
Bacho don't know what he's gonna play.
Bacho.
I think he might play Tchaikovsky's Fifth
You have
Symphony.
You have over 100 years of
I'm gonna
music.
play the Isley Brothers. Okay, you want to get
Yeah,
funky?
you get into something.
Yeah, you gotta get
All
into
right, so one more time. We got
LP and Harmony, 683 Grand Street. Bacho,
Richie Condina.
Richie, Condina.
Forgot my name.
And
I'm
Lenny,
exhausted.
I want to thank you for offering your house because I never
Yeah,
did
thank
this
you
shit
so much.
before
Yes,
like
thank
this,
you, Lenny.
know?
Lenny Fontana,
Yeah,
who's
Lenny
hosted
Fontana,
this
I
beautiful
wanna thank
Facebook
you.
Live
You know,
session.
because you know, it's like it's
you.
fun. You know, if it wasn't for these guys,
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Bacho's like it's like a can. You know, it's like opening Pandora's box. He's got all the information. He doesn't want to say it. I told him, say it. People want to hear this. And I'm glad he's talking. It's about time. Instead of being angry, what are you doing? But no,
It's
how
more-
about
there's
how
more
about
to
tell
say,
us
yeah.
the reason why? Because people
Yeah.
need to know.
Yeah.
That's the only way people can
because
get
they
back.
change history, and then you have to be there.
Well, you're there to correct it,
You
right?
know, I mean,
So, you
what's
know.
going on in this industry all these books and
They're
everything
good though.
about
No, they're good. No.
Some of them are
They're
good.
good because you need a point of reference. So like a guy,
do.
like somebody comes up to you and says, that really happened? And then you could correct
Okay,
it.
so and then disco didn't start until Larry Levin started. You saying?
I never said that.
Okay, no, no, I'm just saying.
Oh, according
that's
to
all-
according to the book?
Yeah, according to the book. Dancing started. The break dancing started in the.
Well, I've
In
always.
the 80s?
Well, hold on a
Bronx.
second. This is one thing I want to ask
Right?
because I
In the
wasn't.
Boogie Down, in the
Hang on,
Bronx.
yeah,
No, it started
Cool
not
Herc-
only in the boogie
but
down.
uptown Manhattan, Cool Herc and them were playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see,
Grandmaster
Flash,
Flowers. No, not Flowers.
Flowers
Flowers.
No.
was in,
No,
wasn't he in
I'm-
Brooklyn?
And Flash.
and Flash, and and it's very cool to see people that.
Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah, but
Right?
that was jail music.
Yeah,
Was
but
that
that's
later?
already like 78, 79.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
Rikers
Yeah.
Island music.
But was
was
Grandmaster
what?
Flowers back
Rikers
in
Island
the,
music.
the
Rikers Island.
60s? Was Flowers in the 60s? Or the 70s?
No, he was early 70s, bro.
Yeah, he
They
was
were
hot.
playing. What they were doing was going downtown
Right.
and hearing these guys play
Right.
all those disco cuts. Because
You heard
even
that.
guys like Chuck D have said this. Who do they go to? Earl Young. Where were they hearing those records? And what were you wearing to Plato's Retreat? Bongo.
A towel.
Right. What color was your towel? Everybody wants to know that. Everybody says, what color was
He had a red
Bacho's
towel with a
Listen,
big B on it.
I didn't know what I was getting into.
Bullshit. You knew
You don't
exactly
know what you were getting into.
Yeah,
Stop.
yeah.
Don't believe this.
No, I
Now
mean,
he's going to tell a different story.
Well, let's correct it. Let's correct
If you want to hear about that, talk to me about that one.
I'm gonna use.
it's
Yeah.
Now, wait. One more time.
okay.
What color was Bacho's towel? No, but Bacho, that's a big... Okay, let me tell you why I mentioned this. Okay.
People think I play naked.
No, I thought the same thing when I asked you. Remember when
No,
I asked you?
I was-
You laughed at
No.
me. You said, I didn't play
Ask
naked.
him.
No, he
Okay,
didn't play
hang
that
on.
game.
The only thing that I used
Hang
to
on.
do was take off my shirt. And
We
when-
always saw you with your shirt on.
Yeah, he always
Right,
took the
that-
shirt.
With
but
your
the
white
reason-
beater, with your white beater t-shirt.
Right, but that was because the people knew I meant business. I was that part of the evening that I could get off, and really have an orgasm,
Well,
because
here's what I'm going to tell you. Son of Sam.
well, that's
Okay, that era. Son of Sam. Let's go right back to that time.
that was
Okay?
the beginning of Plato's.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
John
That was the beginning
Leguizamo
of
was in it.
disco.
Huh?
That was the beginning of disco.
Hang on.
I don't
Hang on,
know.
we gotta go on to the next
No?
one.
You don't think so?
Okay, so now I'm back at we're doing for the BBC. I'll clear this all up later, but this is the kind of question I'd ask for the BBC. John Leguizamo's in a starring movie in 1999.
Right.
Okay, they're playing that movie Son of Sam,
Right.
and one of the scenes in Son of Sam is because he lived in Brooklyn was going to the city, Manhattan,
Yeah. Coming to play.
and going to Plato's Retreat,
Yeah.
and that whole scene in the room and all that stuff.
I had the whole Boston Red Sox team outside the front of the club. Come on,
Was that why you were wearing your red thing that night? Because
there was. You have to understand it was all timing. I mean, everything is timing, and you have to be doing your homework in music and timing.
That's true.
But go back to the Son of Sam.
what was going on with Son and Sam at that time? Disco was just starting to really peak,
Right.
right?
Right.
And the city was, people
They
were
were
afraid.
burning records. And,
Right. People
Yeah,
were
they were
afraid to
doing
go
crazy
out
things.
because Daily News every week was putting up new pictures, people getting killed. Okay,
Right.
so people were saying, "I'm going to stay home," because they were afraid. Was it affecting you at that time?
No, because I was at that time, I was working at this little club. I was in between Plato's and the end of going from Revelation. I went from Revelation. I went to this place called Romeo and Juliet that I didn't last too long in because, I wanted to stay within the range of... I worked at this place called the Bedrock.
Bedrock.
Right.
Bath Avenue.
Bath Avenue. Right. And at that time, how did it affect me? You know the scene of the Son of Sam where everybody's looking for the Son of Sam? Well, a couple of my friends, you know, that I knew from the clubs, two of the girls and one of the guys, I knew them, you know, from the clubs. And it's heartbreaking, but, you know, things do happen, and they had this big search for the Son of Sam, and I was playing records at Bedrock, and the spot was Bedrock, where Bay 17, Bay 17. They found them a few blocks away from there. I mean, that's where they found them dead in the car. And, you know, there's in the Bell Parkway, there's like an over, you know, where they go to the other side, and boy, everybody came out with their bats. It was like crazy, you know. It was a crazy. It was just crazy. Can I tell you something? I was really high, so you know. It took me off surprise. What took me even more off surprise is when I went into New York to play at Plato's when John Lennon got assassinated.
Mm.
Okay? So that took me to a mind blow. So I was playing at Plato's the night John Lennon, and they come in at 9 o'clock, and people crying, and I'm saying, what the fuck's going on? You know, I mean, here I am tripping, you know, and it was some crazy. I mean, one incident after another. You know, it's like, I don't know, it's Plato's between Brooklyn and the Saturday Night Fever, and there's all this crap about that, and then the racism that's going on, and being that I was a minority, I felt like I was like, you know, thumbs down. But meanwhile, I just wanted to bring people together. Is that asking for too much? For little peace in this world? Yeah, I don't know.
So you thought that doing it with music, you would bridge that gap?
Well, the first thing I did was like, first thing I did when John Lennon died was put a mansion, you know, and starting over.
I went there when that happened.
You know, it's like...
that night it happened.
It was like crazy, you know. It was like the entire city stopped. You know, it was like... I was at the Insomnia, where Richard Dreyfuss and Bette Midler and all these big... I think Sting was working down the Beekman at that night, and it was like crazy. It just blows me away, because Plato's was just a bathhouse with 2 dance floors, one full of mattresses and one full of dancing and having fun.
Did anybody go in that swimming pool?
Oh yeah, even me. Believe me. I also went at one Halloween. I was with Big Bird. I was full of feathers and yellow, and I was playing music, you know, and I was tripping, and I jumped into the jacuzzi. With the jacuzzi, with the chlorine that was in the jacuzzi, I came out purple. Oh, so, you know, people that do know me, it's true. You know, it's because
that's a story you can't make up.
No, I can't make it up, because can I tell you something? I can't make up that I was a male hooker at one time. You know, I mean, I used to, anything for money. You know, I mean, that's how it went in the 70s. You know, it was a lot of sex, a lot of drugs. There was nothing about lesbians and this and that and the gays and this and that and the Ricans and the Italians. you know, peace, man. Yo, chill. You know, people aren't going out and supporting the business, and that's why there's no business. I mean, am I lying? Because, you know, we're here with Richie. Richie was one of my friends, one of the first friends that really got to know me because I was into that fast life, they call it. Poor but fast and sell drugs and do what I had to do to make a living. You know, and I was poor. You know, I come from a poor family. You know, and a very artistic family too. You know, as the guy saw in my house, you know, I'm Marilyn Monroe. I'm like a little kid. I have toys all over the place. You know, it's part of keeping the world together. You know, I mean, people. I'm not trying to change your life. I know you think that you're too old to do it, but I'm 63 right now, and I'm still doing it. So if I could do it, you could do it. You know, I mean, it's some crazy. I have a crazy life, but I won't change it for anything. Now I got 24 years in recovery. So come on, if I could do it, you could do it. You know, you hear the governor, the mayor about all these places and that this is affecting this and that's affecting that. And, you know, grow up. You know, I mean, support not only us, but the business, the art.
We made it out in a very in an era that was where a lot of changes were taking place. It was literally sex, drugs, and rock and roll. There wasn't no AIDS virus that we knew of. There was no. It seemed like wherever you went, where the music was, it was always a bond of togetherness, you know, and we were pivotal in the scene of actually playing the music that people would be happy, you know what I mean, and have a good time and hear something new, and we're always looking for something new, something different. It was never the same thing over and over and over. That's why we have so many records. We don't have a few records. We have a lot of records because we've always looked for something different, something different.
As I was coming here, I was trying to buy records at downtown 304.
Yeah,
and listening in the car. You know.
Yeah, so we were listening to it in the car. New sounds, new beats, new artists.
It's crazy.
Which in return helped the music industry. All the DJs, anybody looking in this camera right now, all the people that we know that play music, have played music, want to play music, you know, it'll always be an art form. It's an art form. It's look, you know, you guys are DJs. It's insatiable. It's an insatiable thing. It's there's always more. It's like when I play, I don't want to stop. You know, right? Like when you play, you just don't want to stop.
Yes.
People don't understand like that. I'll talk to certain people, and I'll be like, I want to play till I can't play anymore, till I go to sleep. Right?
You don't want to go to sleep.
You don't even want to go to sleep.
Because I'm listening to new music now.
I love it.
And you want to look for something different.
Yeah.
Something unique.
And we have a closet. We could shop in our own closets. There's so many, like.
I mean, he saw my shoes. I got glitter.
No, I'm not talking about the clothes. I'm talking about the
I
records.
thought you were looking at my records.
I'm talking about the records.
Yeah, the records.
You don't even have to go out. I mean, I could go downstairs, open up a closet, and find a whole show. And not repeat a song.
That's very important.
45, 46 years ago, did you ever think you'd still be talking about this?
No, not me. No, it wasn't like that. It was.
I didn't think that.
Right.
I didn't think.
I don't talk about DJing, just the whole thing.
No, it's just.
It wasn't a perfection.
No,
It wasn't about the newest equipment.
Right.
It wasn't about
the highest technology.
the highest paid job.
No.
It wasn't about. It was about playing.
Yeah.
It was just about playing, finding the music, different music,
But
and for the enjoyment of not only you playing the music and purchasing the music, to see the reaction of the people that were listening to it, and for the enjoyment of the people that were listening to it. That's true. There's nothing phony about that.
no, right, and now they're having all these like. The
Don't knock
vinyl's
anybody.
back. No, I'm not gonna knock anybody. The vinyl is back. It never went anywhere. You know, it's just that.
Dude, you go into Urban Outfitters, they're selling record players. It's pretty funny. And they got a vinyl section. You know what I mean?
So everybody's telling that I was crazy. I'm far from crazy. I know what I want.
I never sold my records.
Oh, you know, I mean, I got rid of quite a few, but you know.
Here and there.
You know,
But
you know, I
the
mean,
majority stays.
you know,
I've stayed. And there's records that I
and
took on
there's
the
a lot
side.
I met a lot of good people too, in the music.
There's
business.
records that I could listen to over
You
and
know,
over
there's
and
a lot
over.
of people out there that are still alive, and I want to say I love you still. You know, I mean, because
Oh, there's a lot of great people out there.
yeah, you know, I mean, it took a lot of energy for me to be here, and I'm grieving. You know, so you know, it's this is something special for me. You know, I mean, I don't answer half of my phone calls, maybe 75%, maybe 85%. You know, I don't answer because I only speak to a couple people. You know,
Answer mine.
I answer yours
You answer
because
mine.
I
Yeah.
answer you. I answer people that I know, people that want to know about my business and my thing. If you didn't know me then, you ain't gonna know me now. You know, I mean, I help people, guide them. I talk to the younger generation that's coming. I go to Joe Corsel's spiritual sessions so I could talk to people. Danny 718 session. I speak to other DJs. I want to share my art. I do not want me to leave this world and not give the message away.
Something rubbed off on my son.
Yeah.
I gotta mention my son. My
Yeah.
son is musically inclined when it comes to doing this. He's a modern DJ. He uses the computer and the Serato and all of that. But you want to know something? If it wasn't for him showing me the equipment that he has, because I really didn't. I gotta say he was part of the inspiration of igniting it.
Good. Yeah,
You know,
I believe. You know.
And he's pretty successful at what he does.
But
He doesn't go to work. He's a DJ.
I would just.
He goes
like,
to work it's a job.
Yeah.
But he doesn't
But I
do a
want.
9 to 5.
But you wanna keep the message going.
Yeah.
You know, you don't wanna just die, which I'm not gonna die yet. You know,
And we
Not
can't
gonna
kill the old records.
you can't. You can't.
You know,
you can't
kill them. And sometimes you kill them when you change them.
You're talking about remixing.
You know,
edits.
when you go to change old stuff, some of the stuff is fabulous. Love Tom Moulton. I do.
He's all right.
All right. Nah, I love Tom Moulton. He's a good guy. He's sick right now. God bless him.
Yeah, Tom's been around
He's
for
not
a long
feeling
time.
well. He's not doing too well. But he made his contribution. Everybody made their contribution to this industry.
Yeah, but,
You know,
but
but some
see,
records just don't need to be touched.
But
Leave it alone.
But you know, it's again, it's timing.
Not everything needs to be 12 and 13 and 15 minutes. Not everything.
No, Skip or Turner wasn't that long.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, but you know.
I'm talking about the old stuff.
The old
They
stuff,
take,
but,
they take anything now and they...
well, you know, like Jerry Butler. How can you touch that One Night Affair?
One Night Affair. You know, you can't even find that.
Well, it's because I got old copies.
You can't even find that right
Yeah,
there.
I've been.
I don't even-
I buy
and
the
it-
album when I see things like that.
It wasn't on the album. Was it on
yeah,
an album?
Oh yeah, it was on an
Yeah?
album. Yeah. It was on the album before Ever Since I Could Remember. Ever Since I Could, with Brenda, what's her name? Brenda Mercury.
Brenda who?
Brenda, it was Jerry Butler and Brenda. I know I have it. It's an album, you know. It's, you know, these records like Willie Hutch. These are
The man.
impossible records to replace.
It was amazing. I went to Louis' boat ride, and he was playing his Ma records and stuff. And when he broke out with "Brother's Gonna Work It Out," which was really unusual, the place went crazy.
Yeah, because it has.
They were dancing all night, but when they hit,
I'll play that Saturday. And
Brother's gonna work it out. Brother's gonna work it out.
You should have known better.
Place went berserk.
No, you should have known better.
Brendan the Tabulations.
Yeah, it's like, you know, rock that groove. At my old age, I say, yeah, here we go. You know, I got 3 sets of speakers. One to hear very late, one to hear regular daytime, and one to party. So I gave them the regular sense, you know. Yeah. Not like you got a masterpiece here. This is beautiful. This is a DJ's dream.
I'd never come out of here.
Right. You know, I mean, your poor wife's upstairs doing things, you know. But it's great to see, and I give you a lot of credit, and to see this and the way you have it hooked up. Primo.
Thank you.
Especially that Bozak.
I know, it's my prized possession.
I'm telling you what, that shit is out of this world. Elvin, you have to see this thing.
He knows that Bozak. He knows about it. He
The
saw it.
camera's over there. He's talking
Oh,
about it.
Elvin,
He's looking
you
at
have
it.
to get the
That's what they see him. They see you.
Anybody
the
on
Bozak.
there? Who's on there?
There's a lot of people on there.
A lot of people are on there right now.
Yeah?
They're watching. They're
Joe DeMonte's on there.
They're all
Joey
listening
D?
to the school.
What's up, Joe?
All right, we're going to school now. You got everybody schooling and writing notes. He's up.
Michael
You know.
Jara.
You know, we knew, Richie said a point of something tonight that really got my attention. Francis knew when the record was going to finish without even fucking looking at it.
Heard it.
Yo, that's insane. David Mancuso,
You know, when a record's over,
You
you
know.
know this. It
yeah.
drops.
Yeah,
I don't know, what would you call it? A decibel?
He-
Right? Is that the word?
But
A decibel? Another decibel.
But you
You
count,
know, you hear it.
But you're counting the bars. You know, I mean, I never knew anything. I mean, I was a clarinet player. I was a nerd when it came to music. You know, I was a clarinet player.
That I never know.
No, yeah.
You were a clarinet player?
Yeah, at Fort Hamilton
With
High
who,
School.
Tommy Dorsey?
No, you know, that's what I was into. You know, and playing bass guitar, and you know, and that,
I played
how
guitar.
how did I know this? And because the measures, and I was like trying to figure out what Richie was saying before, and it did add up, man. You wait to that last second. Some people don't even wait; they go right to the middle. You know, I mean, but you see something, a glare coming at you, or when I'm playing records,
But you got to know the record.
you have to know it. And if you don't
You
study
got to
it,
really know it.
you know, you really have to study the record. The record has to be played more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times. Sometimes I stay all night listening to the same record because I want it to be right when I'm playing it. I want it to be accented. You know?
What'd you clean the records with?
Somebody told me years
No,
ago.
what'd you take? What'd you clean it right? Stop with you're gonna give me a big thing now.
Yeah.
You know what you cleaned it with.
Alcohol.
Thank you. And what?
With water. Alcohol and water mix.
Right.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean, you know.
That's where we wipe the records down.
You know, that word passion is what I see electrified from both of you. Why is that so important?
Because I'm excited.
Because nobody else is paying attention to that detail. Why is it so important for you?
Because I want to make a statement.
I want to motivate people.
Yeah, you want to. I challenge you, motherfucker. You know, I
With
challenge.
music.
You know.
I don't want him to say, "Oh, he's a great
I
DJ."
call up.
I'm gonna say,
I call Elvin.
"Oh, I love that song."
I call Elvin and I tell him, "Yo, you hear this record? You know?" And he said, "Yo, Bach, they put something on the site." He sends me these things from Japan. And I said, "Yo, it costs more to ship it than to get the record." Seriously, people don't understand that. You know, you can't even write it off as taxes because I'm not a working DJ right now. You know, years ago, I paid my taxes, I paid my groove, and Plato's in studio, got arrested from the IRS, whatever, but I still pay my taxes. You know, I mean, people don't understand that it takes a lot of energy to do what we do. And you have to give us a lot of credit. And I'm the first one to speak. I go home, I leave here, I'll be with Harry and Richie, we'll be laughing all the way down, talking, you know, these things. And what I'm thinking right now is, man, I want to listen to that record I was listening to yesterday. You know, I need to get, if it sounds the same as it sounded yesterday. I don't know if you get that, Lenny. When you're playing, making records, you know.
I could say this. All of a sudden you hear something in that record you didn't hear before.
Right.
An
Or-
instrument, something all of a sudden I didn't hear that before. You have to hear it 20 times,
Yes,
30 times.
that's right.
You hear that cymbal or something that you go
The hi-hat, you know.
in the background, right?
Right. Yeah, because
And to know when to make those snap changes in the record, to know when that record's going to make that.
they call it slip cueing.
Well,
Yeah.
slip cueing, or you're working your crossover points to accent the record,
Yeah,
which I've
yeah.
been
I
doing
hear
my
you.
whole
I
life.
hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you. You know, and it,
You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about because can I tell you something? There's parts that you played the same record and it doesn't sound the same. It doesn't have that oomph that you want it to have, that kick, you know,
Push.
like that snare drum that you want to hear, that you're hearing in your mind. And these people that are dancing, that know that you're dancing, or even if it's myself, fuck them if the dance floor gets empty, you know.
You
You're
gotta
gonna
clean
dance
this
with-
up. Can't have no cursing on radio.
You know,
Enjoy, it's
yeah,
okay. You gotta.
yeah, but you know, it's like, it's all right that you miss, you know, you miss certain things, but when you hear a record over and over, and like you said,
You learn it. You have to learn it.
It's like, it's not like years ago. Years ago in the 70s, there was only a handful of records. So you had to play.
You had to explore.
Good. That's a good point. Lolita Holloway had a big hit in the clubs, and not one radio play. How's
Lolita Holloway
How's that possible?
in the 70s did Casanova. But you don't even know that. That was on a 45.
Yeah, on gold
It's all over Casanova. She sang that. That
Yeah,
was
but
Lolita
but
Holloway.
I hear what you're saying.
Now, one radio play in New York, and they did a gold record on that. How is that possible?
Sold a lot of copies too,
Why?
because that was Stephen and David's main reason of the record pool. And Tony,
DJs
Jackies.
made music.
Right.
The DJs
I know,
made the
yeah,
music.
but the main thing was to get it
That's
on
why
that
the record
radio.
companies used to start.
But-
DJs
but-
were becoming bigger than the record company.
Yeah,
They
but
were up there all the time trying to get something.
now you get this.
That's why they did that now.
Here we go.
We educated.
Where was your NADD card?
What's that
National
for?
Association.
I
Your
did that.
National Association
Did I?
Discotheque
You
DJ
got
card.
You got an NA hug.
No, he's
I'm
talking
serious.
about
NADD. My friend in 1974 had his NADD card because he would go up to see, like, for example, Jane Britton at Columbia. You wouldn't go up. You have to get 45s. You have to show them something, your
Yeah.
card.
Well,
Well, that's the same
yeah,
thing
but
as the
when,
letterhead.
right?
when all this
Okay.
started to go down, Ronnie sent them to me. I didn't have to go no more. He
No.
would send boxes of promos to my house.
Yeah, we had a lot of records.
I mean, like boxes.
I
I'd rip
still-
them open.
I
And,
still got a lot of records.
you know,
but, yeah.
promo, Atlantic, do not sell. Atlantic, do not sell. He sent me tons of that stuff. He said, don't even come up here no more. I got you. That's why,
So
Great guy.
Sunshine Sound, Bacho.
oh boy.
Sunshine Sound acetates.
Yes.
What was that all about? Because I know what that's about, but can you give us what that was going on? As you know, in the 70s, we had Sunshine Sound acetates floating around. You see them on YouTube now. and-
Because there was certain DJs.
Wasn't that in Manhattan?
Yeah.
On 40,
where Midland,
40 or 50
Midland
something,
Records is.
what, in the 50s or the 40s?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
know
I
that
think,
place.
what's his name worked there? He's a producer now. Morales? Is his name? Not David Morales.
John Morales?
John Morales, I think, was working there. I think, if I could remember, or it looked like him. You know, I mean.
I don't remember him telling
Well,
me.
You know
Walter.
what I had on acetate?
you know-
Bonnie Bramlett.
Yeah, no, yes,
Remember the Bonnie Bramlett song?
yes.
Uh,
Crazy About My Baby.
Crazy About My Baby. Yeah, I had
Yeah,
her on.
but-
I had her on acetate.
What was that is that things that were edited by certain DJs, a special version of something that's not released or something that had to get around, like Chic Dance Dance Dance, Walter Gibbons doing a lot of his re-edits, the Lolitas, the Gladys Knights.
Here's one for you. Barry White's 12-inch of
You're my first and my last man.
no, with the bass line in it that everybody went crazy for.
Ecstasy.
No, I can't.
No. I know what he's talking about. Can't get enough of your love, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't get enough.
And then everybody came out with that, you know. But that was
That's
I
what
think
I
it was a Bobby DJ record.
No, it's not that one.
Not it wasn't that one.
It's just the bass line everybody played. It was edited. I don't know who did the edit. I don't know if it was Francois did the edit. I don't remember who. But that was one of those hot Sunshine Sound acetates that everybody was looking
Well,
for.
you know, I liked a lot of the different Sunshine sounds, like this record called Puerto Rico.
I have that.
And that people can't get.
Porto. It's big. I have that.
Yeah, on Sunshine.
Yeah.
And then, and then there was people that used to buy them just to buy them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, there's people that buy records that never played them. You know, there's people that are vinyl junkies.
You got, I got.
You know,
I gotta have it, people.
Yeah, I mean,
I gotta have that.
But see, I worked in for different crowds, so I can't put
What about
myself.
what was the
I
price
can't
of-
put myself in those
I
situations.
was talking to his friend Gigi about where was the store in Philly that we used to go to in the bins.
Yeah, it was.
You remember that store?
No, it was.
There were all those boxes. We used to flip through the boxes.
Whenever
They were
we-
$1 a record. It was in Philadelphia.
I know Philadelphia, but there was a couple of places. Now their prices went up.
Yeah, of course they went up.
You all right?
Can't even buy a 45 no more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody makes 45s.
No, they make them.
They record 45s?
There's a big market on that.
Well, now that they're coming out with these record players.
Yeah.
That's what.
You know, but a lot of them
but
are
there was a
making.
time you
A
couldn't-
lot of people are making limited copies of the record. Like you
know,
said, it was so expensive
It went from
for
the
you
40. It went from
to
the,
make your record.
to
right?
the 12-inch.
You know, I mean,
Everybody started putting 12 inches out.
You know, I mean, well, you know, people will argue with me. I think that the quality of the 12-inch, it's a better quality than
Well, it is.
than the album, and a lot of people say no, it's the same crap. You know,
No, it's not.
you
'cause
know,
people
and
took
then
more time
and then there's people that say the 45 RPS is better than the 33 and a third.
in dirt.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of argument. To me, a good record is a good record because you could be the shittiest record. I mean, the best record,
Well,
like
that's
Sonny
what-
Gale.
Well, that's what Steve did.
Yeah,
Steve played anything, and it sounded great.
but Stephen had an ear for music.
He had an ear for music.
Stephen
It was
had an
it
ear.
was sick. He'd play something, and then all of a sudden there'd be something like you'd be like, "What's that?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'd be like a show tune
Yeah.
from play or something.
Well,
And it was danceable, and they'd be dancing.
You know who did that too? There was a couple of DJs that played in rock menus. You know, it's really
No, that's fine.
yeah okay. It's I don't know if the people agree with what I say, but I really don't care. You know,
Nobody's questioning that.
Yeah.
That's
I
your
mean,
that's
This
your
is
opinion.
what it's all about.
It's your
brother.
opinion,
you
bro,
know,
and your
I mean,
opinion's
I
valid.
mean, you know, I mean,
It may not be correct,
Spill the
but
beans.
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's
Right?
it works for me.
That's all that matters.
You know, I mean, and
Who's in there?
A lot of people.
I-
A lot of people in there.
yeah,
Out of
Yeah.
the box. They're all small. They're inside the box.
you know, and
Yeah?
I'm like,
Who's in there?
I'm in there.
I'm in it.
You're
The
in
ones,
there.
the ones that are writing as you're saying what you're saying. They're verifying or
Oh yeah.
or they're asking questions. I can't see the questions there, but
They can ask me anything.
Bacho,
they-
you know what? I just gotta say this to you. There is no question, and the same with Richie, and I've said this to Richie as well. There is no question. Right, bad, or indifferent, it was history made. No matter how you play this, people can hate on you, they can love you, but you can never say it didn't happen. It's the truth. You know, there's no way else to say it. I said this to you, Richie, when you
Yeah.
called me. You said to me, "Do people really want to hear this?" I said, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah, he
Well,
tells me it all the
I
time.
told him John Travolta comes to the club. And
Who?
John Travolta
Why?
from Saturday Night Fever. They were spotting the area, you know, and I was with Richie when we were doing sound system. You know, I was in the middle of Revelation doing something. This limousine pulls up in the club. And Corky says, Corky's, you know, they're doing the alcohol for the evening, and I'm like, Richard, doesn't sound right, you know, I mean, you know, typical Bacho bitching, you know, I mean, you have to have it right. Even in Plato's, I was the same. Comes in, this guy says, well, this is John Travolta. I said, who the fuck is John Travolta?
Seriously, too, right? You
Yeah,
said,
I said, who the fuck is John Travolta? Coca goes to me, he's one of the sweat hogs. I'm saying to myself, what's a sweat hog? And meanwhile, we were just finished, you know, doing some
Yeah.
good stuff, you know.
"You're in another world, right?"
Yeah,
now.
and I had this leather jacket I bought on Delancey Street. You know, and I always like dress fashionable, very rich. And I had it on. Comes over to me, can I buy that jacket off for you? I said, no. Go to Delancey Street and get one.
That's where we used to go for our leathers.
That's right. I says, you can come at night here and you'll see everybody with the same leather jacket. You know?
That's funny.
But this is nothing I can make up. Nothing. Because he came with a big black guy and another white guy. And I'm like, little me, you know, I mean. with Richard Long. You know Richard Long, he's skinny, and I'm like, Richie, you believe these two fucking assholes? You know what I mean? Get them out of here. I want to finish so I could get ready for tonight. You know, because we used to go and put the systems together. You know, I mean,
This was Revelations, right?
Revelation.
Now you bring up Richard Long from RLA. May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
What was your system at Revelation?
In Revelation, I had what was it? I had 2 Thorns.
Yeah, Thorin tape.
And I had
Is that what
Richard's
I had?
original mixer with the slides, the 2 slides.
What did you have, a Gemini?
No, it was just his mixer. He made it.
Whose mixer?
Richard Long.
Oh, okay.
You know, and he had 2 slides, and we
You
used
didn't
to
have a
use
Bozak?
No, we had the Bozak later. We couldn't afford it yet. You know, we didn't make no money. There was only lines around the corner. You know, and Richard made this mixer, and I'm like, this is cool. You know, because here I'm playing, you know, Joe Sal had something different, you know, going on. And then,
What about the band that used to play there? The soul band. Remember the band?
I remember.
Booby Night?
yeah,
Booby something?
yeah, that was then until Joe took over, and you know, honestly, I really don't know, because
But
you
there
know
was
what?
a band there.
There was a band, but I didn't, I don't remember any.
But okay, so you got Richard's original
Slide
mixer
mix.
and the 2 Thorns turntables.
Right.
What was the sound system like?
We had 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 horns, JBLs, I think it was, and I'll take lenses for mid, and 2 earthquakes in each corner.
Not Bertha's.
Bertha's.
You had Bertha's.
Yeah. It was a mixed system, because, you know, and then I go to Bedrock, and they had this guy from the Penthouse that that used to do systems. I forgot his name, and Ricky, I don't know. And I worked on that, so it was completely different. And plus, I don't like working in a glass booth, even in Revelation.
Yeah, he was in glass. He
Yeah,
took it down.
I took it down. It's. I have to feel the people. I have to
he
feel
was
the
like
energy.
encased.
You know, I have to feel that energy. that energy had to be there. If it wasn't there,
I wasn't. I was open.
yeah, he was open. Yo, his side was there. I sat over there after I got a couple of waters. I'm good, you know. Did a couple
They
of
couldn't
lines.
touch me, but I was open.
Yeah, but Richie was skinny, man. Richie was skinny. He had a tiny little ass, and he used to wear these tight pants and the big shoes. Am I right? and I was with the baggy pants, the real Puerto Ricans with the split, you know.
Used to wear parachute pants
Yeah,
sometimes.
sometimes, you know. But
Because you danced.
Yeah, because we danced. We used to glide, you know. That's why I don't understand. People keep changing history of dancing. Of dance. It started in the street. It started before the Chuck Berrys and the 30s. It was wide, man. It was like... The garage didn't start that. That was started by certain dances.
The reason why the thing with the garage still goes on is because we've all spoken about this. The Friday night crowd was a younger crowd and was a straight crowd. Most of the Saturday night people were gay. Most of them died between the drugs and AIDS. So who keeps that party going is more of the Friday night regulars. Not to say there's not a lot of gay, but was a college crowd. That was towards the end of the garage years. And that's why when you're seeing what you're seeing is what they all remember from that period.
No, you're wrong. You know, because I've seen people dance before me.
No.
he's
I'm
not
not saying
talking about that.
I'm not saying what's right and wrong. I'm saying is the period of people that were there that are carrying the torch
Right.
is that period. So they're going by what they were seeing. and that's etched in their mind.
Okay, but can I tell you something?
Sure, tell me. You told me a lot of things.
There's a lot
Teach
of
me.
things that happen between the days of Plato's and the days of Revelation.
This is true.
Right, you know, in between that history of watching the heads going at the same level of dancing. This is my interpretation. From the DJ booth at Revelation, I saw the people do the hustle, dancing, you know, things. Everybody was coordinated, right.
Did you ever grab your microphone and tell them
No,
you
definitely.
look
No,
sexy?
I used to-
Wait,
I had no mic.
You're sexy tonight. Everybody looking
No,
good.
we had a mic. I used
did?
my Sennheiser. Remember the white Sennheiser? We used to use that as a microphone. But watching people dance in Revelation and watching their heads at the same time, even when we used to go to studio, you know, and I used to work for Jill Monroe and what's his name? I forgot his name. Well, they're porn stars, you know, and they used to have sex and fantasy parties. So it used to happen like once a month, you know, and it gets me excited.
He's
you
getting
know.
all excited. He's there. He's back there.
Yeah,
Take us there. Take
you know,
us there.
You used to watch the people dance and the heads bopping at the same time.
But wait a second. You
Yeah, the
said
movement,
sex.
the
But wait,
movement.
you said the X-rated sex party. Who was that? Jill Monroe?
Yeah.
Ron Jeremy?
No, it was before.
He used to go there.
He used to go there. It was Jill Monroe and
Was it the same era as Ron Jeremy? Before him or
no, it was the same.
are you talking
It
about
was
that?
with John
John
Holmes.
Holmes?
We were talking earlier.
John
Seika?
Holmes? John Watt? Johnny Watt? John
No,
Holmes?
John Holmes was there. You know, all of them. Wherever there was sex, Bacho was there. Okay? That's all I can tell you.
Bacho was clear on that one.
Yeah, because I love sex. I wish I could do. I was young again, you know, because something about two people's body, or two guys or two women,
We'll talk
or
about music.
or a man or a guy. You know, I mean, a man. You know, it's that type of. Well, put it this way: I'm in the booth. I'm in the booth, and you see the heads dancing at a sea level. So you see
What's
them.
the point?
The point is that today, everybody's everywhere, and nobody's together.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that happened in the garage. The movement, everybody moved. I remember that.
Yeah, but I didn't hang out at the garage.
Well, I didn't either, but
You know,
I went there.
I went there once or twice.
Wasn't a
Once to
hangout.
bring my record, Skipwood and Turner. I don't want to push it. Yeah, buy it now.
Tell me about Skipwood and Turner.
Yeah, what was that
We'd
like?
like to know about that a little bit.
Skipwood and Turner.
How did that go into
Fourth and
fruition?
Broadway.
Who were the original players of that
There
song?
was Rodney Skipwood and Fred Turner.
Okay.
And they send the cassette to Glenn LaRusso.
Mm-hmm.
Glenn says, "Here, take this and go listen to it home." He used to bring stuff from Medam. I got the original congas and the original stuff from back then. So he sends me home with this cassette, and I'm like drawing it on the side, because I got records. I was in the, records for my thing. He says, "Listen to it." He calls me that night. He goes, "You listen to the CD, the cassette?" He says, "What cassette?"
What a perfect opportunity.
He goes, "What cassette?" He goes, "Let him rest in peace, man." He says, "I want to put this record out, and I want you to do something with it." I heard the demo, and you didn't really need anything to do done to it, except add a couple of imps, and Patrick did just that. He was the engineer. I was the consultant, people get disco mixed by Jim Burgess, disco mixed by Bobby DJ, you don't get the engineer
Who
any
else?
credit. Who's the one doing? Come on, I got a point, no? Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Patrick was like gold to me.
Patrick who?
Patrick Adams.
He's one of the best, man.
Yeah, the guy worked, sleep, and did everything in that studio.
Yeah,
We
he's
were in
bad.
power.
He's
So
awesome.
I listened to this cassette, and I said, "Wow, this could be cool." So I says, "Glenn, I'll go with you." And it was on Monday, I think it was. I didn't get out of there till Friday night. So I had to go back to Plato's. And it was 1984, it was the end of 84, 85. And it was like magic. It wasn't not only me, it was my ears and Patrick's skills and heart. So I cannot take all the credit for something, but I had a great big part of it, and so did Patrick. You know, and
Great record. There was nobody hands down. I will say it. I was blessed.
everybody used it. Everybody loved the EQ of the record.
What was the name of the song?
Thinking about your love.
Oh,
Let's get working. on
And I said, I brought the record to me, and I said to me, Larry was on 70-something Street with Steven. And I said, you guys have to hear this. I left it blank. So, you know, didn't say power play or nothing. Wasn't mastered yet. Larry goes, girl, this is a hit. Girl, you better bring that shit tonight. So I snuck out of the club, and Glenn LaRusso went with me to the Paradise Garage. And the rest was history, man. The rest, you know, I mean, I've been playing it for months, you know, already. And, you know, I was afraid to show it off. Then Chris Blackwell got her hands on it. And when Chris said, yeah, this is a fucker's, and Ruben Rodriguez. And Ruben Rodriguez was another inspired person. He goes, my hair stand up, man.
that name that time.
Mark Steven was the guy's name from the Sex Parties. See, my mind still works.
It needs to.
Yeah,
better.
yeah, you know, and the magic. Larry actually played the record for a good hour and a half at the garage. He couldn't stop playing it. So I wanted to take my copy that night. There was no way I was getting it back. And so at this time, Frankie had, whatchamacallit had it. Larry Levan had it. I brought it to the booth. You know, I had to get the fucking club in, you know. I had a tape, so I played the reel. And I played it from there. And Frankie Crocker stole it from Larry. And it went to BLS. And it was crazy.
Nice.
It's like a Cinderella story. Because I only got paid $200 to do the mix.
Crazy.
So who gets shafted in the deal? I did. But nah, can I tell you something? It was worth every minute of it. Because the record, I put my heart and soul to it, and Patrick helped me. Something I never did. Which I did things with Fleetwood Mac and things like that, with Jeremy Spencer, you know, with Izzy Sanchez and Sergio Tranquility, remember him? You know, I did little things like, you know, A Whole Lot of Love by Led Zeppelin. But these are all little tests, you know. I never thought that I'd have a hit that big. So then it came to that month on Billboard. It was Into the Groove, number 2 with a bullet. Number 3 with a bullet. Skip and Turner was number 2 with a bullet, 2 weeks in a row. Bob Gosselin of Island and Ruben Rodriguez, they pushed that fucking record off the top. We skipped Madonna and it was #1. It was like the biggest black record ever, and was happy. I was like a little child, and this is a true story. I can't make this up.
Well, I know the story. I remember the story.
Yeah.
So I know it's true.
I mean, it's. I never took all the credit, but my name was spelled wrong.
You can't take all the credit because you didn't produce the record.
Right.
Skipworth and Turner did, but
Right.
you were able to bring it to the place where it needed to be, to
Right.
make that record sound the way we all learned how it was supposed to sound like.
Yes, because I learned people like Richie and people like Tony Gio and like people like that knew good black R&B records are needed in this world. The Marvin Gayes are gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but see now
the Wilson Pickett.
This is what I don't understand. How's a good old Italian boy know a black record?
Because
I
Danny,
was raised in
well,
Fort Greene Park.
Danny Crivet is a Jewish white boy
no.
and has black soul in him.
I
It's
was
true,
raised-
though. I'm not saying it as being racist. I'm saying that's what I heard
Yeah.
growing back up.
Yeah.
Saying people would say to me, "What do you know about black music?" And I would laugh. I would go, "Are you kidding?"
There,
The
there,
places I've seen it before I heard.
there was always something inside of me.
Yeah, these guys,
That-
they had something.
Always something inside of me.
And
that
I
was
picked it up.
attracted to. First of all, as a kid, I lived on a block that had 3 Baptist churches,
Hallelujah.
and I used to go in. It's true. I was a boy in grammar school going to a Catholic school, but as a boy playing, I would go in the lot, and I would listen to the gospel music. I was so attracted to that sound, so attracted to it, and
And
that's what happened. It just,
And Walter too had
my
it. Great.
mother. I used to be in front of a mirror, and act like James. My mother used to go, "What's wrong with you?" I go, "Nothing."
And Walter,
I know all that music,
yeah.
even the black blues players.
Yeah.
I listened to.
Incredible.
But see, even Walter had like an inspiration, like of a black, and David Rodriguez. They all had that black feeling that you wanted to.
We
fucking-
played a lot of gospel music.
Yes. That's
I
what I'm
Got
saying.
It,
The
Gloria-
Hawkins, right?
Gloria Spencer.
The Hawkins,
Right?
Yeah.
Hawkins Choir.
right?
I'm
trying to
the
look it
voices of
me.
East Harlem.
Yeah.
The voices of East Harlem were
Yeah.
were a gospel group.
Well, it's still there, and it's still big. And,
Solomon Burke
Yeah.
was a gospel singer.
But see, the excitement is that, like you said, there's these people that are white, or Italian, or Jewish,
That's right.
that have this blood that's embedded in them. And when I see people like that, like Andrew's Page and Lenny's show, maybe I don't like everything they do, but I always look for different ideas. So I'll take like a quick peek, get out, quick peek, get out, because I knew they were going to chop the rest of the record off. And so, like, I'm totally against that anyway. You have to play the full record so you can make, and it has to work from beginning to end.
I just want to stop you guys. We're probably close to 4,000 views right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're about 2,000 on here, and there's other places it's all going.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've given a history lessons to people. And John wrote Brenda Lee Eager.
Okay.
That was that answer.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see people. You asked this question once again. Who wants to hear this garbage? There's your answer.
Oh,
Maybe 4,000 a show.
Maybe more than that. Because
Well, come on down to LP and Harmony Saturday night,
They're viewing. It's just, we're just talking.
Brooklyn.
What's more important is that I got all this recorded, and that also that you're speaking, both of you are speaking about this and from your heart.
yeah.
You're not writing this on a cue card. We're not saying to you hold back. You said talk.
No, that's what you told me to do, and with everything that I'm
I
going
love the
through.
sexual part. That's so you.
Oh, yes.
If anybody knows you, knows that's you. It's like, there he is, Bacho.
It's like putting my foot in the doorway, the exit, and getting a blowjob, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's Bacho, but
you know, it was.
Mangual.
But it was. See, but it
and that's a
wasn't.
different time. You couldn't do that now. That wouldn't be accepted today. You can't play that kind of game like you guys did back then. That kind of way.
No, you
It's
can't.
not-
You can't get away.
You never get away with it.
No.
But those days, there was no cameras. There was no beepers. This is pre even beepers. This is pre even a payphone.
But I always ask for ID.
You didn't go by weight. You always went by identification. I think you used to do weigh-ins.
No, it's not that. It's just that, you know, there's people in this business that really never gave us credit. That's why we're here. That's why I'm here. And Richie asked me, you know, that we never got the credit we deserve. And I really, to me, it bothers me, honestly.
But you are getting the credit right now, Bacho.
You know, I mean,
Nobody can take away what you did.
they can't. No,
Nobody can
you're-
take it away. They just may not want to talk about it, but they could never erase it. Same with you, Richie.
you know,
I
I
said
love
that
you,
to
my
you for
brother.
1,000 times. You've asked me this over and over, and I said this the same every time. And every time I say the same thing, for people to understand how left and right each step you walk, the only way to tell them is you have to tell them. You have to say it out loud. Nobody's gonna. Otherwise, we make up these magical stories like this. When Richie played at the Dr. Phil Funnies, he was standing in water. He was like Jesus Christ. He
was.
elevated the crowd.
Same thing.
Right. Bacho was naked in the booth, like he was running Tarzan. You know, he
But
had.
Richie saw me and they said, he has his clothes on. Everybody else is naked. I said, I had no shirt, you know, because the bath. Remember, the booth of the bathhouse was like, when you walk down the steps, the first one you see is me. And at that time, I had Marilyn Green Fisher as my manager with Tom Savarese and Bobby DJ. We were, us three were managed by Marilyn Green Fisher. So she got us all neon lights, you know, from our bosses. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. And I had a neon, I still have the neon sign in my house.
Do you?
Yeah, I didn't, you know, the way.
Yeah, it was in neon. You had a neon Bacho.
Yeah, it was color of a tuminol. It was a color of a tuminol. You know what a tuminol is? It's a down. So I was,
So it wasn't a quaalude, it was a tumor.
Yeah, because tuminols were my thing, you know. Yeah, I mean,
Goofballs.
Yeah, goofballs. I used to shove them in my ass.
Yeah, but what's that the part with Pacino in that movie where they're doing poppers? Was that famous in your club too? Where they,
Yeah.
you know, where they,
No, that wasn't there.
No, that wasn't there. That was I think it
That
was.
was on the West Side Highway.
Yeah, that was what's his name's club.
Peter Rabbit? No.
Crisco Disco.
Yeah.
And then you know, it's you know, that was another great club.
Yeah.
That people
Well, the
never.
Monster. Nobody talks about the Monster.
The Monster is still
Warren Glover.
and still till today, it's still a monstrous club.
It's still there.
You know, it's still there.
You pass there on a Friday night.
You
there's
can't
a
get
line.
in. You can't get in.
It's still there.
how many years that club going there?
Oh, a long
It
time.
has to be at least.
Minimum.
Joe and Show, at least 45 years.
Yeah.
The Monster. On that corner, same thing.
Right,
Right there.
right.
Very
right in the
few
village.
places actually last past 10 years, no less 45.
Yeah, it was near the Stonewall. You know.
Right. It was around
So-
the corner.
so-
Yeah, well, wait a minute
Wherever
now.
there was,
Listen,
wherever
the
there was,
Stonewall, around the corner from the Stonewall on Christopher Street was the Haven.
right, and around the corner
Haven
from
was
that
near the Stonewall.
was the Anvil. You know, and so like all these sex clubs, I'm saying, yo, I'm in my fucking
And the
glory.
Haven was in the basement of a house.
I'm in my glory. I said, men, women, everybody has sex. You know,
Where
I mean,
Francis played.
yeah.
That was when sexual.
Is
It
that
was-
what made you crazy
Right.
as a DJ? Because you had that sexual vibe to make music, to play music that filled that ego, you know, to fill that excitement.
Well,
Did that,
music is sexy.
No,
No?
I'm not
Yeah,
answering.
Marvin Gaye was sexy. Yeah.
Well, music is sexy.
Yes. And it's very revolutionary You know, you could be a revolution, and you know, you could be very angry.
You could be protest. Yeah.
You could be very everything.
Well, there was a time in the '70s where the music was very political.
Oh yes.
Remember, like it had a lot of themes, like
What is it that they used to say? Like,
save us,
yeah.
save the
Well, you know.
children. Wait a minute, Curtis Mayfield. If there's hell below, we're all gonna go.
I was playing that the other night.
What?
Which I played that Saturday.
What's
So
going
I'm
on
playing.
album? Rockets, moonshots.
I just want to
all the
have fun.
have-nots.
I just want the world to be fun. Instead of living in this
Yeah,
miserable.
but you know something happened along the way, bro. It
Yeah, we got a new president.
That's it's besides that. We're talking, I'm gonna go back
Oh,
from the point of where you were talking about having fun to where people were dying. A lot of shit was going on in between. It got to a point where the drugs destroyed a lot
Was
of people's
taking
lives.
lives.
Yeah, taking lives.
And so was the AIDS
It wasn't
virus.
recreation anymore. It wasn't recreation. Now it was. The drugs weren't ending on Sunday night. They were going Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
And
You look-
Thursday, Friday,
There was a
Saturday.
club every night of the week.
Yeah, we had.
A
Yo,
club
we didn't.
every
I
night
didn't
of the
need a
week.
job. I had a job, you know, and my job was to wherever they needed me, I was there.
There was a club every
I was
night of the
I
week.
was on call. I was telling Richie, 24/7. You wake my ass up. My grandmother get you up. Go make your money. You know, that's the way we lived.
Every night.
Every night, yeah. And some people used to say, I said, I re-up on Sunday, so don't bother me. You know,
Richie, you have any regrets?
No.
No, wait, Bacho. Let Richie answer.
No, I don't have any. You know what? I have a regret that when I kind of look at this, right? And I say I was so into what I was doing, and then when I started to make terrible decisions on my life, I could no longer be a part of what I loved the most. And then when I started to see the light again a little bit, or look back and see some of these people, they came after me. To me, in my eyes, were successful. You know,
you were a success, brother.
I understand. Yeah, but I'm talking about, like, I would have liked to have gone to Europe to play. When I see that stuff, I didn't do any of that stuff. I don't have my name on a record, on a mix, on a remix or anything. You know
actually,
what?
Tom Savarese was probably the first one he played in Italy in the '70s.
Yeah, but I look at that and I say to myself, that could have been me.
Yeah.
That probably would have been me.
Yeah.
You know, but when
Hey, listen, you're alive, you're kicking.
I just think like that.
And we're kids
You know,
at heart. And
that's
you
why
got-
I'm so excited about what I do now.
Yeah.
I mean, it may not be a big thing to anybody else, but to me, it's huge.
It's
It's
not
so
o-
huge to me.
You know, it's not over yet. So
It's not. No,
minute.
we're
We
not
could-
done.
we
We're
could-
not done.
we could go on a
You know
we
when
could
it's
go on a
over?
collaborate tour in Europe. Who knows?
You know when it's over?
When the fat lady sings.
When you're over, and you're down on the ground. That's when
right.
it's over.
It's
You
not
can't,
over.
and you do it till you can't do it no more.
I can tell you something. I
Well-
got to that point 2 years ago because I was in so much pain from being hurt, my back, diabetic. I mean, I went through all this and I'm still alive,
Going strong.
going strong and not letting anything stop me.
You can take your shirt off Saturday?
It depends how cold because my nipples get hard.
We'll get some nipple warmers for you.
But yes, but let me tell you, to me, I have no regrets. If I have to live history over, I will do it. But I
Stroke
wouldn't-
for stroke?
stroke for stroke,
Drugs and all?
drugs and all.
And clean out.
That's right.
All right.
Because can I tell you something?
Please.
I did everything I wanted to do.
You live life fully.
That's right. But can I tell you something? It's not over yet. Because
It's
I
not
said,
over.
I will be here again. This is my 5th time. my 50th
You mean
year.
you mean to tell me you've done this 5 times already?
well,
Resurface and reset the clocks?
yeah, I mean, every 10 years you have to look at yourself and say what you're going to do. But you can't get bored because everybody's knocking the music. And everybody's not everybody, but a lot of the majority of people don't like club music or soul music or rock and roll, even metal.
Yeah, but it's changing. There's a flavor now. Like you could see, there's clubs opening. They mean, you know what I mean? There's dance music. There's people dancing.
Yeah, because
There's clubs in Brooklyn. There's here goes a plug, if you want to call it. And there's analog. There's LP. There's output. There's places opening.
A lot
You
of
know what I
places
mean?
are
They're
open.
opening. So there's a need for something.
Yeah, but you also don't want.
Elsewhere.
But
Elsewhere.
right.
Nowadays.
Panther Room.
Cameo.
Lost.
Yeah.
I know, there's a lot of rooms.
There's a lot of places
And you got a
opening.
lot of people that do care, like Benny Soto, and that are promoters that
But no one yet has took the big risk and dropped it in Manhattan.
because
Yeah.
they can't afford it.
I know, the big risk.
Well, that
Opening
may
up
change now because the cabaret law is gone.
a big club
Bless
like
you.
it used to be.
Thank you.
Well, you know what you need? You need some clubs normal size to begin again.
You need right. Yeah.
So
That's what was the success of clubs. It wasn't the big rooms.
Right.
The big rooms killed it.
Yep.
I mean,
I always said that.
and I think that
Oh,
that
some of
big
those big rooms were
that
packed.
big European room is not happening, but their small rooms are really giving us.
Not the lounge. It's got to
No.
be in between the lounge and the big room.
Right.
It's got to be like a 600 people room.
No,
5 to
no,
600, 4 to 600.
400.
Yeah.
You know.
Where it makes sense and it feels more
Yeah,
intimate.
but you want also the DJ to have control of the room.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because if you don't have that control, those one nights and those 2 nights that you have big, that fill 4,000 or 5,000 people, you can't live. It's not gonna last.
Right.
You
It
know,
doesn't. It's
because
short-lived.
you still have to pay people. You have to pay the DJ. You have to pay the bartenders. You have to pay the promotion. You have to pay. There's a lot of money to be paid.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got the rent. Unless you own the building,
And even still, it's expensive now.
right?
Old days, you could do things on a penny.
Right. No, and I give credit to these guys that are pushing out the clubs, and believe me, they're not sleeping on these DJs. You know,
No, it's big
you know,
money.
a lot of these DJs aren't making top dollar. You know, because there's so much competition. Like Richie says, everybody's a DJ that owns an Apple computer. You know, you know, that owns an Apple computer. Everybody's a DJ, you know. Or can I tell you something like the lady at Checkmate that I used to work for? She thinks that having an iPad fulfills a DJ. So I told her, go ahead, do whatever you want. I'm out. But 70% of their business went.
Oh, so basically, DJ iPad took over?
Yeah. No, well, I just left, you know. So, you know, I was tired of getting told what to do. You know, I mean, it's yeah. You know, it's just terrible.
What do you want to tell them? Tell them about Saturday.
Saturday,
Yeah. Saturday. One more time. Let's plug it again.
Grand Street, LP in
Let's
Harmony.
do it one more time. Let's stand one more time together.
Come on, talk to them. Talk to them about Joe. Tell them.
Listen,
Please help me.
not help me.
Stop begging.
Listen, let's have fun. You know,
Beg,
enjoy.
Beg, Bacho, beg.
No, I don't.
That's Saturday, January 13th. This Saturday.
Arizona.
Bacho, my man Richie C.
Richie C.
I'm gonna pause it
Thank you
because I'm
again
tired.
for having me in your
My man
house.
Richie C.
You're welcome.
I wanna
It's a
thank
pleasure for me.
Lenny
Yeah,
Fontana
I mean,
for.
I know I'm a handful sometimes, but I hold my tongue a
Doing a
lot.
plug over
I
here.
wanna
You're
thank
making
Lenny
apologies.
Fontana.
LP in Harmony.
No, just keep going.
What's the address? Grand Street?
683 Grand Street.
And where's Meticulous? Is he in there? You better get those turntables fixed.
He's getting it done.
Yeah. Thank you, Meticulous.
Thank you, Meticulous.
Lenny, thank you so much for
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
hosting
Yeah,
this in
thank
your
you for
in your
this.
beautiful studio.
Maybe.
Don't forget, to pick up a couple of singles from Karmic Power Records.
Yeah, you better come out with
Lenny-
vinyl.
We're
Lenny-
coming
Lenny-
live
Yeah,
from
and stop
Karmic
being
Power
cheap.
Lenny
Record
Fontana has
Studio.
done a phenomenal job in
who's
having
up
this
there?
label take off, and I owe a lot to Lenny, a lot, and I just want to say thank
I'm
you.
on your own, Mike. Maybe I can help you out.
Anyway,
Well, that's a wrap, guys. Thank
have
you.
a good one. January 13th, LP in Harmony.
Remember, no snow, a little rain, and you can get down there.
You can take
It'll be
off your
worth
shirt
going.
there.
It'll be worth going.
I gotta see the other side of that.
We love you guys.
What's that?
See you. Oh, Kathy's like, hey, Tonelli's, thank you, everybody. Julian Vargas, everybody. Take care. Good night. Look how awesome.
How you look at that?